Yes, how's everyone doing today? I hope we're all good. First, I'd like to apologize for starting the show 3 hours late. I had to postpone it because something came up. You know, life happens. I had to leave to go take care of some stuff, but we're back at it and try to pick the best possible lineup to help us win the game against Lille tomorrow. And also, more importantly, if you are in the chat, please do let me know if you can hear me. Hopefully, we'll get a win tomorrow and put all the differences that the performances of the players has caused among the Chelsea community behind us and move forward. After all, we support one club and we want nothing but our beloved club to do well. So yeah, again, my apologies for starting the show 3 hours late than scheduled before, but we're here now, and good luck to us all because it can be very, very difficult to correctly predict Thomas Tuchel's lineup for any game at any time. Hopefully, we will, maybe get it correct today, or maybe get close to getting it correct. So, but we'll see what happens. So we will get to it right away, and in about 10 minutes or so, I'll put the link in the chat so that whoever wants to join us can join us. So let's get into it. And before we get started, it's important to recognize who we think will start and who we think wouldn't start because they're injured or because they're just returning from injury and not match fit, and who will believe Thomas Tuchel made decide to rest for the Carabao Cup final against Liverpool in a few days, because most definitely he will rotate the team. He will rest players, given that the game isn't that is just a few days away. So I'm going to share my screen so that we can be looking at the lineup together. And here we have it. So again, as usual, I don't want it to be a one-man show, so I'll wait a little bit to see if anybody joins me so we can start picking the lineup. So it is democracy, and I have Showtime in the house. That makes me happy, bro. How are you doing today? And welcome back to Chelsea Perspective.
Good evening, brother. How you doing? Thank you for having me.
Always, you're always welcome. You're always welcome. And I don't know if you heard me apologizing for postponing the show. It was supposed to start 3 hours earlier, but I had to postpone it for personal reasons.
Yeah, I
But
heard.
currently
I
I'm back.
even, I want to even apologize because I kept messaging you like
No, it
at
doesn't
3,
matter,
then I
man.
messaged you at
I
5,
like
and
it.
yeah,
It doesn't matter, bro. It doesn't matter. That's important. It's just that I didn't see your messages on time, actually. So you
yes.
have every right to message me and ask me, okay, what's going on? Yeah. So any news on any player who's out injured or who you think will not play or something like that?
I think I don't see Aspilicueta playing unless it's necessary for him to come in and play, and I
Why?
definitely don't.
Why do you think so?
Because he's we want to save him for the Sunday matches. It's a cup game.
Oh,
We have the
but in
Liverpool
his
match on Sunday.
yeah, in his absence, who plays in that position, especially if you
This
play three
system
at the
right here is
back?
actually what I agreed. What we're 3-4-2-1. I think that's the position because that was. I think that is the formation Tuchel will go with tomorrow.
Most
Um,
likely, yeah.
and I feel like the three at the back will probably be Christensen, Silva, and Rudiger as like on Saturday. I mean that's
We will pick the lineup. I think he will be a bit reserved with his selection so that he doesn't select players that will play on against Liverpool and then they get injured or tired out. I think we'll get to it. But other
yeah. I
than
think
that,
that
do you think Mason Mount will be fit enough to play?
he'll be on the bench. I don't even think he'll play. He doesn't need
Mm,
to. I don't think Mason Mount needs to.
yeah, it's not necessary,
I
right?
think I think our thing is we don't want to rush back players at this time. I can understand
Hmm.
if we do it in the beginning of the season, but we're at that stage where every game matters now. So rushing players back so they can pick up another injury will be a problem for us. I feel like leaving Mason Mount out of this one, and if we can bring him in on Sunday to come
Yeah,
off the bench or to start him to give him minutes, yeah, that's okay. But playing him again this match is important as well as the next match on Sunday. That's why I feel like
Very.
we'll go with our strongest squad. We'll go with our strongest squad this tomorrow, and we'll go with our strongest squad on Sunday. So I don't think he'll take this game lightly because he wants to win everything.
Yeah, and again, I think you're very correct there because Lil also will come at us. I'm not sure how do you think that is the UEFA removing the away goal rules? How do you think it will affect the game?
So it all depends on how they perceive it. Because
Yeah.
if the away goal doesn't really matter as of now, if I'm understanding the rules correctly, it doesn't have an effect on the aggregates anymore. I feel like they'll come in and try to win, or if not,
Mhm.
try to sit back and play a defensive game for the second leg and try to win it all in the second leg. But if we,
Do you know how they play? I haven't watched them lately. I know
I haven't
They
watched
have
them.
Jonathan David, right?
Yeah, I haven't watched them as well, but I've heard from other sources that they're not in their best form as well as of right now. They're having problems with their manager, and also injuries has affected them as well. So, I mean, we can't bank on on winning the game with that, but we can also use it
Hmm.
as a surplus for us.
Yeah, I agree with you. Now let's look at let's talk about the goalkeepers. Now we remember the argument on who should start and who shouldn't start because we'll get into the lineup soon. But let's look at the goalkeeper situation. It's not a situation; it's a good problem to have.
Yeah,
That the fact that both goalkeepers are right now on top of their games, doing quite well. Kepa was excellent in the absence of Edouard Mendy. Mendy also before he left, he had a few howlers here and there, which is natural with goalkeepers. He learns with such situation. He must learn from that such situation, if you like that way. Uh, would you have started if you were Thomas Tuchel? Would you have started Mendy over Kepa Arrizabalaga in the Club World Cup final?
he's our number one. He's back. He's fit. He's got to go. I mean, Kepa knows his role. He did a great job stepping up for Mendy when he was away. But that number one spot belongs to Mendy, the best goalkeeper in the world. So him sitting on the bench for a final is not ideal. It's the most logical thing to do is play him. The thing with Kepa is right now he's marketable. If he was to go into next season and want to leave because it's a World Cup season and he wants to play for his country, then I'm sure Chelsea. I know Marina. I love Marina. She's very smart. She will listen to offers for Kepa Arrizabalaga, and we'll probably make more than we spent on Kepa.
Yeah, you made a great point there because if we have to sell him, we gotta play him. If he doesn't play, it will be difficult to find buyers. That's just simply the fact. But what do you think will happen in the FA in the Carabao Cup final? Who do you think will start?
Mendy, of course, he's a final. He's our number one goalkeeper. He's the best in the world. I think Kepa will probably play the FA Cup and try to get us to the final. And if he does, Mendy will take over again. I think
Here's my argument. Here's my argument. There now, you see, we from the argument first of all when Mendy came back from African and joined the camp for the Club World Cup final. But before I say that, I'd like to say thank you for CJ Madabuchi for joining the stream on Facebook. And Madabuchi, if you can, if you haven't, please like the video on YouTube and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't. That will help us reach more people and also that will help the channel grow. So now, what I was trying to say is this: Mendy left for Afghan, and in his absence, we had Kepa Arrizabalaga, and he did a magnificent job in the absence of Edouard Mendy. He was good in the semifinals of the. He was good in the semifinals of the Club World Cup. And we could have lost that game because he made two crucial saves that made sure we progressed to the final. And okay, I can agree the argument that yeah, Mendes should start over him in the final of the Club World Cup because you say, like you did say, he's our first choice goalkeeper. But then again, I don't think it will be fair in any measure to have him start over Kepa again in the Carabao Cup final. Do you think it's fair? Because we're talking about a 70 million pounds goalkeeper, and if we really want to sell him, we got to play him.
I mean, look, he he. I mean, at the end of the day, Kepa is the one that actually put this on himself. He's the one that played himself out of form. Mendy starts in finals, and Mendy is the best goalkeeper in the world. I don't think it's ideal. I mean, I hear what you're saying, but Mendy is our number one, and you don't bench your number one when he's in form, and you don't bench your number one because your number two is playing well. Kepa's put himself in this predicament, and he has to see it through.
Hmm.
He has to understand his role, and he has to adapt to it. He's doing a great job as doing that as well.
Okay, what if we put Mendy? Let's say we put Kepa in that mindset that, oh, he's only important when Mendy isn't available, and then we have a situation where we need him again, and because of the way he's treated, he's not ready. We have a problem. Because see, that brings me back to my argument previously on another show, that the difference between Chelsea Football Club and Manchester City is this. At Chelsea, we have starters and then we have backups. At Manchester City, they have all starters. Whoever starts, you can be rest assured you find it difficult playing against them. But with us, the moment the starter, any person who starts game, any player that starts game gets injured, we're in serious trouble. Rhys James is a prime example. Another one is Ben Chilwell. Another one is when Jorginho got injured, or when was it Mateo Kovacic? We didn't have any other player in the team that was able to help us progress the ball in the absence of Mateo Kovacic. So that's where I have the issue. You don't just treat Kepa as if, okay, that the Club World Cup one, you could say, even Tuchel said it wasn't an easy decision for him. Then again, benching him again in the final of the Carabao Cup, you're sending the wrong message. I don't think the player will be in the right mindset to do anything good in the absence of Mendy, because you're practically telling him that that is your efforts, even though your efforts doesn't warrant you starting.
Yeah, I hear you, but you don't like the comments say, you don't rotate keepers at all. Your number one is your number one. There's no 1A, 1B when it comes to your keepers. Kepa, he was our big money signing. And then he played like he deserving of the money. He's still, in my eyes, he's performing well now, so he can be out the door on this summer that's coming up, this window that's coming up. That's what he's
Hmm.
playing for. He wants to play in the World Cup. He knows that he has to perform and play week in and week out for him to make that World Cup squad. So for him to play,
Hmm.
he has to prove himself now so he can tell Marina, hey, look, I want to transfer. And he's going to be out his way. You don't roll because look,
How much does he earn weekly, and you think it'd be easy for him to decide to leave? But I agree, to some measure he'd want to leave because he wants to represent the Spanish national team. But at the same time, honestly, for me, some would argue it's being sentimental. I don't think it's being sentimental because it's on merit. He's done good enough to merit him standing between the sticks. And you did say something, Showtime. You did say something about his what did you say? Something about he did harm to his form or something like that. I
yeah,
forgot
he
how you
did it
phrased it.
himself.
Sort
You've performed,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But that was under Frank Lampard, and also under Thomas Tuchel, you could argue he's done better than Mendy, hasn't he?
No, not necessarily. Mendes came in and took the number one spot right away from Kepa. It
Because
wasn't.
when he came in, the Kepa wasn't in good form.
Yeah, and then there you go. Kepa wasn't in good form, and we brought in a player to give that competition to Kepa, and Kepa lost the competition. So now Kepa's in a predicament like he has to wait his turn, and that's ideal for a goalkeeper. He has to wait his turn,
Okay.
and Kepa's on
Okay.
155 weekly, 155K weekly. That is our eighth highest paid player on our wage book under Aspilicueta. He's making more than Aspilicueta.
Mm.
That is a
Okay.
problem.
So yeah, I get your argument. Before we get into the lineup proper, I'd like to say thank you to CFC for him, and thank you to Madabuchi, and thank you to Helgi, my brother. Thank you to Matt, also my brother. I appreciate you, and I'm glad you guys also still found time to join us, even though I postponed the show by 3 hours. So between the sticks, we can all agree, like you said, Mendy starts, right?
Yeah, I agree for sure.
Okay. And people in the chat, let us know who would you start between the stick. I know the choice is obvious. This is not the Club World Cup where you can argue, yeah, but Mendy, Kepa has been playing and he's been doing well. So why change it now? Let us know what you think. If you're in the chat, who would you start between the sticks? Let us know your opinion. Okay, Mendy. Bigger brother, would love to join a video, but it's too late here. No worries, sister. You can contribute there. So who would you want to start between the sticks? We've agreed, Mendy, and then we go to the back three. While I wait, Mendy, I think Mendy carries the vote over us, and two people there. And with you on the panel, you said Mendy also. So the three center backs in the middle, we can all agree. For me, it's Thiago Silva, how about you?
Ideally, I want to say Thiago Silva. Excuse me, but I won't be surprised if either Christensen starts in the middle, and then had their
Why is that?
because I think we'll need Thiago Silva 100%, 150% ready for the cup game on Sunday. It's a final. It's not like a stage in a round or something. It's a final.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the turnaround right now, he's 37. I think we'll need him 150% ready for Sunday instead of playing him now.
Because his experience and camp presence will come in handy, and leadership, more importantly. Go ahead.
Especially on a Sunday match. But if it depends, Christensen, he's learning under us. He did it in the Champions League final, came in for Silva. So I think he understands the importance of a Champions League match. So I'll play him in the middle. I don't know, but
So you say,
ideally I think Silva will play, but I will go with Christensen just to do the lineup.
okay, for me, I'd say Thiago Silva, because the Champions League game, I think we need him in all our Champions League matches whenever he's fit and ready to go. But I do understand your argument right there. For the people in the chat, who would you start to lead the back three? I'm trying to see. Okay, I have one vote there saying Thiago Silva. Any other person there? Okay, we can say Thiago won it because nobody there says Andreas Christensen. If I see, I can always change it. So we have two votes and you have one there. And for the left center back position, who do you think?
Rudiger.
I expect to really get Thiago Christensen. Christensen cannot see much rotation in terms of the defensive choices. So, but Helgi, who do you think will lead the back line?
Rudiger.
Okay, we agreed. Showtime, you said Rudiger for the left center back position, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and for the right hand side, who do you think?
Christensen.
Okay, and that's what he says. I expect Rudiger. Maybe possibly 4-3-3, but who do you think will start on the right hand side here? If this is information, I think we could, if we have time, still have time. At the end, we could still do another.
The thing is that we don't run a back four, and we haven't ran a back four in Champions League. We don't play back four in Champions League. We stick to Tuchel's 3-4-3, 3-4-2-1, or 3-4 or 3-4-3.
So he hardly tinkers with the formation in the Champions League. So on the right hand side, Matt says Chalobah, and who else there? We want to get your vote. For me, I'd say Chalobah too, but let's see who else they call there. Helgi says Christensen, so we have two Christensens. We have Chalobah here, two Chalobah, that's him and me. Any other person there to add to the vote? I haven't seen Fahim votes for For him is more like a question.
What
So
about
what'd you say?
when was the last time we've seen Chalobah in the starting lineup and played recently? Since he came back from injury, he hasn't played. I don't think putting him in the Champions League first leg is the ideal thing to do. It depends on how people see the importance of this match. You think he can come in and
How
play?
about the argument that he knows this guy so very well because he's played in the French league?
Yeah, it's been how long that he played last season in the French league? Times has
Yeah,
changed. Times have changed. And then, okay, if he plays, then who plays on the right wing back? Who plays at the right wing side? Who plays on the right wing?
he can. He really.
I mean, look, my thing is,
Yeah.
if we play somebody on the right wing, it's not going to be Reece James, nor will it be Cesar Azpilicueta, because I don't really
Hmm.
think it's fit enough to go. So that means you're putting probably Pulisic on the right and
Hmm.
Chalobah on the right. Where's the experience? Where's the leader on that right side? That's why I think Christensen plays on the right because he has to be that more vocal point and the more of a leader aspect of it. That's the right side.
So, but for this side now in the chat, we have more Chalovers than Christensen. I think we have just two Christensen. You and Helgi are calling for Christensen to start. So majority
Yeah, I
carried
mean,
a vote. What do you think?
majority rules. That's a good thing about a dictatorship.
But I get your argument and why Chalobah shouldn't start. But I think we'll see what happens again. Good luck correctly predicting Thomas Tuchel's selection because whenever you think player A starts, he plays player B. Now, I don't know. Do you know how Lille plays? I understand, but yeah, we know they have Jonathan David, who's a very quick player, right? So they can be very, very dangerous in counter. So do you know how they play Showtime?
1 second. I just want to look up what formation they played in last. That tells you a bit much about what ideally how they play.
Mm.
Let's see.
So let me see. Yeah, go ahead. While you search for it, I'll see if I can find it too.
Yeah.
But
So they play in a
let me
4-4-2.
they play 4-4-2. You said.
Yeah, they play in a 4-4-2 formation.
So I'm trying. Yeah, I'm trying to. So that means they will packed. They have more players. And do you think? No, I don't
Defense.
think they will have more players in the midfield than us. Go ahead. You wanted to say something.
It's like a defensive lineup they play on a counter attack, like an Conte system.
Mm. They usually play quite direct. That's. I think I've heard somebody else say that. So for that, how do you think if you're Thomas Tuchel? How do you think? Who do you think will start? The two sixes there.
I mean, ideally, I wouldn't play Conte on the back-to-back. I'll give him because we need Conte to play cleanup on Sunday. I'm playing Kova and Jorginho. I'm not a big fan of Jorginho, but I'll play Jorginho.
What problem do you have with Jorginho?
He's slow. He's too. We having a problem now for going from the defense to the midfield to the offensive to the attacking aspect of the levels of the game, and Jorginho tremendously slows that down for us. We can't seem to get the balls to our attackers faster. We can't seem to feed Lukaku the ball from the midfield, except if Kovacic is playing, and that is ideally a problem. And I think Jorginho is a key problem to that. He's a
Well,
sideways
have you
passer.
also? Yeah, go ahead.
He's a sideways passer. He wants to slow the match down. He wants to control the tempo, hold the possession. I mean, right now we don't even get risky passes in. We don't get that deep that balls that get our attackers running to get the defense spread it out. Jorginho's hindering us, and I can't wait till the summer where he's on the list to be out the door. That's my idea.
Let's before we continue with the lineup. I think that's I don't know if you've noticed how difficult. I know what's his name. Staff would like this conversation because he doesn't. It's not like he hates Jorginho, but he always complains how slow Jorginho is and how badly he plays when we play against teams that press us aggressively, which is true. But we've had Kante play alongside him that he's masked his deficiencies, but I think he does more good than you know than the wrong stuff he does. Because the truth is, we've always found it very difficult to control games whenever he's not playing. We've witnessed that when if he starts game and we take him off, we falter a lot. If he doesn't start, we find it difficult to control games. Now, looking at Lille here, I think it is 4-4-2 definitely, and I don't know most of their players, but I know Jonathan David very well. He's the Canadian international who's very quick, and he's a fine finisher too. That was a time I was arguing last year that Chelsea should actually look at him. But that's by the way. So you're talking about the second. You're suggesting that the second 260 should be. You agree should be Jorginho and Kovacic, right?
Yeah, that's ideal. Right? There's no other unless you want to play Ruben Loftus-Cheek in Jorginho's position. Without that will happen. I don't think Tuchel will make that risk.
And for the people in the chat, what do you think about the 260s? Do you all agree with Jorginho and Kovacic starting there, given that Showtime's argument that I think Kante will be rested, so he's fully ready for the final against Liverpool? What do you guys think? And he says, I would want to see Cover and Jorginho. Cover has been like our best player lately. I think that's no argument at all. It's there for everybody to see. You don't need to watch the game twice before you know, yes, how important Kovacic has been for us. And I think he's improved quite well under Thomas Tuchel. What do you think, Showtime? How well do you think Cover has improved his vision, decision-making, and everything?
Look, Kovacic is as of right now, I hate to say it's because of the love that I have for N'Golo Kante, but he has been our best midfielder. He's the one that actually knows how to give Lukaku the ball and not see a big black man in the middle of the pitch and overlook him.
He's assisted him once, right? With that beautiful pass. Was it against Aston Villa?
Yeah, but you see him often feeding Lukaku the ball. So, on Saturday, how many times? 7 touches, 2 in 45 minutes, only 1 for kickoff, and Kovacic is not playing. That's a problem, ideally.
Yeah, I think, because the truth is, in his absence, we've suffered a lot. Like I've mentioned before, without Kovacic on the pitch, we found it very difficult to progress the ball when the opponents press us aggressively. When they defend, that is when they come at us. And I think his importance to this team is, I mean, it cannot be overstated because it's there for everyone to see, and his improvement is also one thing I enjoy to see. So for this position here, the left wing back position, what do you think will happen? I have my argument, but I'll wait for you to come in first. And for guys in the chat, let us know who you think will start in the left wing back position. You go ahead. Over to you, Showtime. Who do you think will start?
Alonso starts.
Why do you think Alonso will start?
I mean, who else do we have? We have no Chile. And I don't think even a speck of Kennedy is coming off the bench unless we're up by 2 goals in the second half to clean up the game, just to give him some runs. I think Alonso starts and plays probably till the 75th minute if we're winning, and then comes off. I just think the assist that he gave Ziyech on Saturday plays him into the starting role this weekend. And there's no Hudson-Odoi. Hudson-Odoi usually plays on the left. As well, but there's no Hudson-Odoi this match. He's out, and I think Alonso plays. That's about it for me. I'm not a big fan of Alonso. I want him going in the summer as well. I want a lot of players going in the summer, but he's a big player I want going. I think we can sell him. He has, I think, 1 year as well.
Here's the thing. Here's my argument there. Let me just put the link in the chat. Here's my argument there, and I'll explain. My argument for the left wing back position is that Malang Sarr will start, and you know why?
Why?
The reason being that we don't have N'Golo Kante on the pitch, which means we're more vulnerable in terms of that is the way these guys will be bypassing our midfield. Kovacic does his best defensively. Jorginho can read the game quite well, be in the right place at the right time. But usually opposition players can outpace him and do some damage to us before we realize what's going on. So we have issue here. The two guys here, defensively, they're not the strongest, especially Jorginho. So that's why I think if we're going by three with three at the back and we have these two guys in the midfield, then most definitely I think Thomas Tuchel will be defensively cautious and we'll start Malang Sarr here. What do you think about that argument? And if you're in the chat, let us know who you think will start in the left wing back position.
Regarding Sarr, I mean, then we're gonna have to sacrifice the attack. Then that's another problem because we're not gonna be able to get no attack going on the left side because Sarr
And
going
that's
forward.
and that's why it's I don't think that's one of the reasons why I don't think it will be a high scoring game. But go ahead. I understand your argument. Go ahead. You were saying something.
I mean, yeah, we don't. I mean, right now we're in that predicament where all eyes is on our attack, from the wingers to the strikers to the
Yeah.
attackers. All eyes are on them, and if we don't produce, Tuchel hasn't. We haven't. I'm tired of the one goal thing, and I think Sarr is good in a back four. I don't think he's good in the ideal back three. That's just my perspective. I like Saw a lot. I just think if we're going to the back four, yeah, you definitely play Saw. But if we're going to a three, like the three here and the 3-4-3, 3-4-2-1.
Hasn't he played in a tree before?
He played it. I Tuchel said that he was playing a 4-1-4-1 this past weekend, but I don't think ideally with my eyes I didn't see a 4-1-4-1. I saw more like Saw playing up like a wing back and just well, and I didn't like it.
So for people in the chat, let's see who wins this one. But I totally understand your argument. Who do you think will start in the left wing back position? That is, if we play three at the back system. So let's see if we have any vote. If not, I'll give it to you. Well, I can see Alonso starting because he hasn't played that much in our games lately, right? So you could argue he's well rested. Right. If the vote in the chat changes the situation, I will oblige. So for the right wing back position, over to you. What do you think?
I'm going Pulisic. I'm not pleased with Pulisic anyway because of his poor, and I mean poor performance on Saturday. I am not pleased. But who can we go with? Who can also play on the right wing? He's either Pulisic or no Aspie, and Aspie's not fit to play. So I'm going with Pulisic, as much as it pains me to say.
Yeah, but playing him out of position doesn't help his case either. You could argue that's one of the reasons why he's been underperforming. Yes, there are cases, there are situations, for instance, I think I've said this like a million times. In the run-up before to the Champions League final, he had 3 games to stake a claim for a starting place in the Champions League final lineup, but he didn't take those chances. Why, I don't know. He was fit then. He had 3 games before the Champions League final to show, okay, you know what, I can play very well in the Champions League final if you select me. And there's one thing I like about him. Wherever he's on the pitch, if he's anything close to the final third, you will always see him in the box. And I like that. But what has happened to him? Why hasn't he taken those chances when they come to him?
One, inconsistency. He's very inconsistent. One match he wants to show up, next match he wants to act like he's there but not there. I hear what you're saying about his positions. I mean, but he's right now the jack of all trades. He can play next to a striker, and he could play on the wing, either left or right. Although ideally his left wing is his position. I feel like he can play on both sides, and it's just how he shows up. It's more so what can he provide for us. Because right now, if we were to give him a rating from 1 to 10 as his performance so far, he doesn't get above a 5 for me because he hasn't been consistent enough. The only match that I saw him ideally perform was against Liverpool when he scored a goal. But he missed how many chances before he scored that goal? You know?
And
Except
before we continue, if you're in the chat, please, you can. The link is there. You can join the conversation if you have time. The DJ Soft 17, welcome to Chelsea Perspective again, bro. It's been quite a while since you've been here. I appreciate seeing you in the chat. So, to you, Showtime, you think it will be Christian Pulisic here, but he's not done well at all. So why play him there again? Don't you think maybe Chalobah might get a goal there?
have Chalobah played? I don't think Chalobah plays on the wing for us. I haven't seen him on the wing. I've seen him in the midfield and I've seen him at center back. I don't see him in the wing.
I think there was a time Tuchel did some tweaking in game that Chalobah played in that position. I can't remember what game to be precise, but I think he can operate there because he ventures for even from the right center back position. He ventures forward quite well up or in this area whenever he's the guy on the right hand side here when we play three at the back. So I think he can actually play here and execute it better than Christian Pulisic will. So what do you think? And I see Fahim here suggesting Ziyech. Ziyech for that, what do you think? Is this the same as the right wing?
I'm not playing Ziyech on the wing. I'm playing him if in this formation especially, I'm playing him just behind the striker, just behind Lukaku.
Yeah, especially not this deep, right? Even if you decide to play him on the wings.
Not this deep, because then that's a defensive liability right there. And we have if we put him there, look at Chalobah. So Ziyech and Chalobah on the right, inexperienced. A lot of problems for us. So that's why I will go probably Pulisic, because we've seen him on the right and we've seen him on the left. He knows his job.
So you think it's going to be Christian Pulisic with an attacking intent, but the truth remains he's played there 2-3 times now or even more, but in all those cases he was ineffective to an annoying extent. So I don't think it really makes sense to play him that deep or whoever it is, because no matter, I don't know if maybe Tuchel play those players in those positions with an attacking intent, but the structure when the game starts, it doesn't. They've always looked confused. Even whenever Callum Hudson-Odoi plays here, even with an attacking intent, he doesn't look himself 100%, except when he starts for the forward. So I don't know, for the people in the chat, do you think will start as in the right wing back position if we play three at the back? We want to see your contribution there so we can make a suggestion. I think Ziyech is playing there, to be honest. Ziyech does a lot better, deeper, wider than in the center. Here's what I can agree with you, is that even if you play Ziyech there, he will still play well, but it will not be his best games, because it just seems as if here he has a dual responsibility, which isn't his strongest suit, which is to defend and also attack. But although he's done quite well lately defensively, and he's won aerial duels, surprisingly to me, I did some man of the match videos regarding Hakim Ziyech. What do you think? Do you believe in this argument that Ziyech does a lot better, deeper, and wider than in the center? Remember, the argument is that for him, one thing, let me clear the air here. The argument isn't to play him in the center. The argument is just to play him further forward as a right wing and not a right wing back. But given this formation, I don't think he starts here. That's my argument. So what do you think about Fahim's argument here that Ziyech does a lot better, deeper, and wider than in the center?
I would say it's a toss up for me. I wouldn't say I agree nor disagree with that, but I just think that playing, and when he's in form, you hinder him by giving him the responsibility of playing defensively, having a defensive mindset and an attacking mindset, and also a provider aspect, because he has to provide Lukaku service as well. You give him too many jobs, too many hats to wear in this position as of right now. But play him closer in the attacking aspect is where he's best at, whipping balls in, shooting with that magical left foot, and that's it. Defensively, he's okay. I don't see, and I don't expect him to play in that position because then you give him too many jobs. Then if he doesn't perform well, he goes back to his OZH run. We need him to continue to be the best scorer as well as the best provider as he's been thus
Mm-hmm.
far. Yeah, that's about it.
Hmm. So you're saying it will be who here? You
Chris,
mentioned Pulisic.
yeah,
Okay, let's give it a shot. Okay, we'll move to the 2-8 here. For me, I don't think Mason Mount will play in this game. I think he will be continue training and be well rested for the final. Now, who do you think will start? Let's start with the left hand side. Who do you think will start here? This guy here. And bear in mind, we need, even though we have Lukaku, Lukaku will most definitely start this game. I think so. We still need fluidity to a certain measure to allow our attacking players to operate seamlessly and then find space, find that is be able to string passes together and create chances for the number 9 man. Who do you think will start on the left hand side there?
Oh, Roman, do you know what that's worth? Kai Havertz is the best on earth. So Kai Havertz plays there for sure for me, for sure.
Yes,
Kai
it
Havertz.
definitely will start, but I don't think on the left. I think Kai Havertz starts in
Yeah,
this
that's what you
position
asked, right?
here.
On the left, right?
Sorry?
You said on the left, right?
On the left, it's
Yeah.
definitely Kai, if you
Kai
ask.
Havertz is the
Uh,
best on earth.
yeah. Yeah, I think that's where Kai starts. And for you, Matt and Matt, who do you think will start on the right hand side here? While we move to the second number 8, most definitely Ziyech. What do you think?
I'm going with Hakeem, the wizard.
Yeah,
The
he's
wizard.
been our best player of late. His work rate, his defensive contributions. Um, he's I mean, he's scored goals too, and he's created chances. And for people, again, people in the chat, we have the link there. So if you want to join the conversation, please do join us. We have a few minutes to round up, but you can join the conversation in the panel. Now,
Look,
let's
I'm
go
gonna
for the
say
number 9 position.
I'm
I
gonna
think
say
I already
this.
know. Yeah, go
I'm gonna
ahead.
say this. Sorry, to cut you off. I'm gonna say this regarding the match on Saturday. That goal doesn't happen if it's not for Lukaku. That
Really?
goes, yeah. He occupied both
Against
defenders against Crystal Palace. The defenders both was occupied by Lukaku. That gave the pass for Alonso to come in, and the defender peeled off late, but right in time for Ziyech to get his shot off. So it's a defensive mishap because Lukaku's in the middle. If
mm,
Lukaku's not there and Kai Havertz is there, who's to say that the both center backs are occupied by Kai Havertz? That's my opinion there. But people will say I'm reaching or I'm a Lukaku lover, but no, I'm not. I
no,
love him.
I understand. He's here with he's one of us now. We have to support him no matter the situation. And the fact is, there's no that possibility for everyone to agree and say he's a good player and or he did well on that day. That's why we're humans. And now, so let's see who do you, for people in the chat, who do you think will start up front before we discuss other aspects of this show? Yeah, Matt, I understand. I think Amir told me in the morning, and hopefully you get, please do get well soon. Says Werner, Lukaku, Ziyech for the front 3.
Yeah, no. Werner sits
Let's
on the
think.
bench and warms
Yeah,
up
go
the
ahead. Let's talk
seats.
about Werner. Why? Why wouldn't you want him to start?
No, Werner sits on the bench and warms the seat up for people to come off and to give his seat up to them because he's a bench warmer. Werner is not up to his potential and he hasn't lived up to his price tag and he is not worth to start so he can run around like a headless chicken. We need impact. We need goals. And in front of goal, Werner is a scaredy cat and he doesn't score goals. He runs around and he makes room for other people to score. And no, we don't need him to play. He hasn't played in how long? You know why? Because he's out of form. and Kai Havertz is beating him for his position each and every week.
How would you say? Well, Werner, how well would you say he's done in his first season at Chelsea?
In his
You
second
know,
season in Chelsea,
no, the past season, he was one
oh
of our best players in terms of assists. Although he didn't get as much goals that we the fans expected him to get,
yeah.
but he did quite well in terms of his overall team play and their chances. He's the guy with the most assists for us, isn't he?
Listen, I mean, I don't know
He
what you
was.
consider. I don't know what. I mean, for me, I'm still trying to figure out how this goal and assist calculations are coming back, because an assist to me is you giving the ball to someone to score it directly, not a pass from me to not a pass from Ziyech to Timo Werner back to Ziyech and then a score. That I don't really understand how the goal scores is calculated. I don't have time to see Timo Werner in this game so he can miss goals and opportunities. I think he doesn't pair well with Lukaku anyway. I think Havertz and Lukaku is the best mat pair.
Wow. Okay, I
But
get
yeah,
your
I mean,
argument. I haven't even added Lukaku's name, but I would do so. And
yeah,
Ty, welcome to the show. And before we continue, I'd like to thank Yomi Bayin. Sorry if I murder your name. Hopefully, I pronounced it correctly. I'd like to welcome you to Chelsea Perspective. And if this is your first time, please don't forget to click on the like button to help us reach more people. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, so that you get notifications whenever we go live or whenever we upload a new video. Also, I'd like to apologize for delaying the show by 3 hours. I know it's very, very late in the UK and Nigeria and other places that I had expected to join the stream, but that's, by the way, show must go on. A showtime, isn't it? Show must go on, right?
always. You don't call me Showtime for no reason.
Yes. So Ty, what do you think about the lineup we have here? Would you have done anything differently, or do you think it's
No,
perfect?
no. Actually, no. There's injury issues, and there's obviously situations where players are not match fit, so we have to play players out of position. Pulisic, for example. But I agree with everything else. And obviously, I know people don't want to see Lukaku, but I think we just have to accept that he's going to be playing no matter what. So yeah, I would agree with the exact lineup that you guys have.
Do you agree with because I had to pick Chalobah here. Showtime suggested Christensen, but we had more votes for Chalobah here. Do you think, for any reason, think Christensen will start here rather than Chalobah?
It's possible because Chalobah is coming back from injury, and I mean, I don't know. Sometimes Suka doesn't like to take those risks really, and bring back in
Hmm.
players who actually he normally brings them back in as a sub. So I it's 50-50. Chalobah can do something there. I mean, he will have Silva there for support. So if he's not having the best game, Silva will and Rudiger will be there to help him. But Christensen played in the week. I think he can probably take a rest because he wasn't really having the best game. Obviously, he was playing out of position, but I think Chalobah can come back in. Hopefully, he does. Nothing happens with Chalobah, and he has an off game because he's coming back from injury. But I would stick with Chalobah on the right because he can actually be of some support going forward because he actually offers more going forward than Christensen would. So it would be better to have Chalobah there.
That's the way I have to disagree with you a bit. Christensen here seemed to have better chemistry with Silva
Yeah, I
and
mean going
Kovacic.
forward though, he's better
And
because he pushes forward a bit more. Christensen is one where he tends to help to keep the back line a bit more secure, and I can understand why. But Chalobah actually decides to press more.
Yeah, and
Showtime, do you go ahead?
my thing is Chalobah, like you said before, he has Silva there to give him cover. We're in a stage of the season where we don't have time for Silva to help on to do double the job. He's 37. We need him as long as we can use him. So him having to do the double work and making sure Chalobah is intact and can hold his own and also worry about himself is just too much at this stage in the Champions League. This is not the group stages anymore. This is the round of 16. So
Hmm.
every win or go home. And if Chalobah is not there to hold his own, he has to sit down on the bench and wait his turn to come in. I don't mind using him as a sub at all. I understand that, yeah. But that's when we're leading. If we have 2 goals up, I'm not using him to start this match so Silva can do the double work for us when we get into when they're in an attacking position.
Ty,
Yeah.
what do you think? What do you think about Alonso here? The fact that we don't have Kante on the pitch in the
Yeah.
lineup, or
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
like, would you still select Alonso for the left
Yeah. But
wing back
who would
position
play there
here?
though? Who would play there?
No, I mean, if we're being, since we don't have two of these guys, not necessarily, Jorginho he doesn't venture forward that much, but defensively, he's not that sound. He's not defensively sound. You could argue it that way. So having him in Kovacic here, don't you think we'll have more security starting Saw here to provide more protection on the left hand side than it would be with Alonso here?
Uh,
Because if Kante
I
is
don't
on the
think we've
pitch,
ever actually have we used Sarr as a wing back? I think we've
I think we
always pretty
have.
much
I think we have. I think
we
it
have.
was, but it was after a change during the
Oh yeah, that's
game.
true.
He
That's
didn't
true.
start. He didn't start there, and I think it was intentionally tweaked to that measure to have him provide protection, and Alonso was taking off because he can. The
Yeah,
kid
yeah, I remember
actually,
that.
yeah. And if you watched the game against Crystal Palace, I think he's become more confident, and you can see
Yeah.
he has the potential. It's just maybe when he came in, we had issues in the midfield. So our defense didn't have much of a protection at that point. So they were coming at us. So the people thought maybe he was a bad player. But when our midfielders recovered, we had Kante back, then Kovacic came back. It was clear that the kid was actually good. All he needed was just proper protection from the midfielders. And he's good. He defends very well. He's quick and he's a good passer of the ball.
Yeah.
He proved that against Crystal Palace. That pass from Golo Kante, he saw Kante's move and he had to put in the ball for him. He had to put the ball for him from between two other players that were on the left hand side. That's not easy. That's a pass that a midfielder will be very proud of.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think we're just judging him because I think it's just we're just stereotyping the kid because we know he's a center back or he usually plays on the left at the back, but I think he's capable of executing that role very well and also provide proper security for our defense. But I get Showtime's argument that going forward we will suffer.
Yeah. That and which is why it's if we I don't know, maybe if you had like a Hudson Odoi, maybe it would be better because then you won't really suffer because Havertz isn't a creator. He isn't that is not his specialty. So if we I don't know. I think we may have to stick with Alonso because sorry if Sarr plays, he doesn't really have anybody to really support him in that regard. And I mean Pulisic when Pulisic was playing, he was playing on the left if I'm not mistaken, or most of the time he was on the left. So there was like some connection there between him and Sarr. But if we have to play Pulisic as a right wing back, I think we it may be difficult to really play Sarr there. I would probably I would probably want to see him there, but I like if Showtime thinks that it's a case where we'll suffer offensively, in a sense that would make sense because Alonso does offer more going forward. It's just he's Alonso slow, so he's in that regard. Like, I think it's probably best to go with him, but I just hope that we don't suffer. But I wouldn't be against Sarr playing, but it's just a case where we don't really have that support on the left to really help Sar if he's not going to be able to do things offensively. But who knows? Maybe he'll be instructed that he can probably continue like you gave the example against Crystal Palace to make that similar pass he made to Kante.
Okay, let's talk about this now. I'm going to put Lukaku's name here, and actually, I think the truth is statistics says otherwise. Actually, in terms of how well he's done, but I think because he came at such a price, it's easy to like judge him whenever he doesn't play well.
And the
I
interview.
wouldn't. Sorry.
And the interview as well.
Yeah, exactly. That didn't help his case also because he started well, and when he returned from injury, he did well. He was doing well until that interview, but that's a topic for another day. Now, let's talk about this now. What is Christian Pulisic's best position? You can comment or Showtime can comment, whoever has the time. What is Christian Pulisic's best position? Because I'm not sure what you would say it is right now.
I'll say on the wing, on the left wing. I think he's better left. That's for me, but he has to play on the right this game because there's nobody else there available.
So other than that, and in the Club World Cup, and in the final he plays centrally.
You saw him on Saturday play centrally, and look how poor he was.
Poor kid. And that's a big problem here in playing this position, and that's why I hate seeing him here. Even playing for the forward centrally, he's basically useless. He's so poor to an annoying extent, let alone when you play him here, even with an attacking intent, is just absolute nonsense. And I love Thomas Tuchel, but at the point, it's starting to seem as if he's not helping his case, and I don't want him to start having a problem, and it will come down to him not playing, the players in their best positions, because there were games of late. There was late games we played recently that we played the formation. Was that 4-1-4-1 or what formation? Every player on that day was on fire. I think it was against Tottenham. What formation did we play that day?
Yeah, you're exactly right. 4-1-4-1.
And every player on the pitch was on fire. Ziyech, we saw his best that day. Who else was there? Even Sa played like he's played with a team for a million years. The same thing happened the day. What position did
Yamio is saying the truth. It's 4-2-2-2 because we had two. We had Lukaku and Havertz. Ziyech. Who played with Ziyech? I don't remember who played with Ziyech. I think no, it wasn't Callum. You had Ziyech and somebody, and then you had two in the midfield, and then you had Suarez the left back and Rudiger and Silva. I think it was. No, it wasn't Silva. I don't remember who it was, but it was 4-2-2-2.
Odoi played on the left.
Yeah, it was Odoi.
And he was on fire that day too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if it is 4-2-2-2, you still have the players on the wings where they want to be. Yeah. On the flanks where they want to be, and not centrally. But I am not sure what's going on. Some would argue that he's been successful with this formation, stick with it. But we've also played a different formation and seen it, because the truth is we don't have specialized wingers who are, you could say, formidable. Alonso is a specialized winger, but he's not at his best right now. You could say he's lost it, or he's not. Maybe because of his age or something like that. Why are we still playing this formation so we don't have specialized players to help execute it to the fullest? What do you think, Showtime?
From this formation, I can actually say that this was the last time we've got a brace from Lukaku when it comes to scoring goals in the attack. During the Aston Villa.
Sorry, can you say that? This formation right here, 3 at the back?
The 3-4-2-1 is the last time we got a brace from Lukaku, and that was like Aston Villa match where he scored. In our attack, the only player from this personnel that is out is Aspilicueta. and Reece James, because Reece James played on the right, and Aspilicueta was there in the back with Silva and Rudiger. If you can check, I don't know if it was just
No, no, I
yeah,
think you're correct. The last time he scored a brace, this was a formation we played. And
yeah,
if you're arguing that do you think, okay, are you saying that this formation better suits Lukaku?
yeah. I mean, for us, it's not changing. It's not hindering us because we played it already. So we're not like jeopard. Like Tuchel's not at fault here, nor is Lukaku at here because we've seen him play in this formation and we know what we
Isn't
get in
that
this formation.
wasn't that the formation that he thrived in
Yeah,
under Conte?
he drive.
Even though it was probably a two in attack with
Yeah,
So
Martinez.
what's the argument?
he
What's the
played with a
argument? I think I have an answer to what I can say the issue is, if you ask me. Even if he played this formation, I remember my friend here and my brother start arguing that Conte played it differently. He plays two number nines, and I think I have to research that again because to me
He
it
does play two
doesn't look
number
like
nines.
two number nines for me.
He
Yeah, it
does.
doesn't.
Uh,
He does.
Inter Milan.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It does. They on paper they feel a 3-5-2, but it doesn't really look like. It looks like Lukaku is the main man, and you have Martinez forming like a 3-4-3. If he's playing probably in the position that Havertz really occupies.
Here's where it is clear now that this situation, and before anybody say, well, this is not about bantering Lukaku, we're just thinking about, okay, how can we play how can we play to get the best out of the man, to play to his strength, if you like. But I'm not all for changing the whole all identity to accommodate him. It will create more problems than solve one. Now, here's what came to mind, because thank you for bringing that up, Showtime, saying, yeah, he thrived in this formation. I think where the issue lies here is that even though he thrived in this formation, players are being played out of position. So even if Lukaku is fit and ready to finish chances when it gets to him, the players here around him aren't at their best. And when these players are not at their best, then Lukaku will suffer. So that means this system isn't helpful either, if that's the case. Because
I'm gonna
yeah,
say this before I run.
yeah, okay, bro.
This is the exact two that played behind Lukaku when he scored the brace in Aston Villa. And guess who scored? Who else?
Then what's the issue?
That is the problem. You keep switching formations. We keep switching. I don't know what's the issue, but this is the exact key players that played, except for Chalobah playing and Aspilicueta being there. So I don't really know what the issue is, but I gotta run. I thank you for having me on, brother.
All right, bro. See you next time, or the pregame show if you have time.
You'll see me.
All right, man. So, Ty, are you still there with me?
Yeah. Somebody's saying that. I think in order, yeah. I've always expressed that Lukaku is more of a counter-attacking type of player, because he can always use the fact that with Belgium aren't a possessive team. They're more a counter-attacking team, and that's how they've always gotten the best out of Lukaku. But I mean, we have players who suit possessive, and then you have some that suit counter-attacking. So with Lukaku, and I mean, even if Showtime was using the example of Aston Villa, we had the ball, but at the same time we were allowing them to have most of the ball, and the way that he scored the goals as well, it was based on us doing a counter attack. But like you're saying,
it's. I mean, the situation is actually deeper than most people think, because you can. It will be because. Let me just repeat that again. Or what Showtime talked about. He thrived with the system, right? Whether it's two up front or two behind the striker, however it is, because even if this is a structure, let me show the screen again. Can you still see it, Ty?
Yeah.
even if this is the structure, and if you ask me with this structure, that means this structure is even more dynamic because these two players here, this guy and this guy here, can always support him. You get what I mean now? So now, but given that argument, if it's having an issue here, that means the problem could possibly be that these players are being played out of positions, so they are not out of their, they are not, that is, in their best, and also not able to provide the proper services that this guy here needs to thrive. But I have to say also, this is not bashing this guy. This guy himself of late have also looked like he doesn't want to be on the pitch.
Yeah, he looks disinterested. He's like I said,
Yes.
like I said yesterday. He looks disinterested. And I mean, it's not like he never did it, because I can remember Arsenal game. It was his debut, and he was running. He passed the ball, and then they ran in, and then I think he bullied. I don't remember which Arsenal defender he bullied, and they ran in, and then Reece James made a cross, and he tapped it in. So he used to be a runner, and even before the interview came out against Aston Villa, where he scored, he came on as a sub and he scored. He was running, and then they tackled him. So I don't know. It looks like ever since that interview, he's like, they know how I feel, and he looks disinterested. He doesn't run anymore. He's just staying as a goal hanger. He stays at the goal and then just hope for the ball to come to him. And I mean, hoping that crosses will come into him and that they'll pass it to him, and then he tries to shoot. He doesn't look like he wants to work. He looks disinterested, like he's just there to play and that's it, and just be on the pitch for sure.
Yeah. Ty, great comment there. Let's look at this on another important something here. I think he makes sense. I don't know if it's sarcastic, but I get his point. Now, I think I made similar argument that some people are saying we must change the way we play to accommodate him. And I thank staff for admitting, that in Italy there's more space and in Germany there's more space. But in the Premier League, you can't find that kind of space for an attacker. Hopefully, I'm not misquoting him. But if I know Stav, if I did misquote him, I think he will let me know immediately. Now, here's what this comment says here from Yomiyu. It says, I think in order to make Lukaku play well, we shouldn't take the possession and let the opponents have the ball. Then with fast build-up and counter-attack, Lukaku might play good. You get that comment, Ty?
Yeah, I get what he's saying. So because I mean, even Tuchel mentioned it about Chelsea being looked at as a defensive team. Mm. So in that regard, we're possessive. So I think I get what he's saying. But why would you change something that was working before and was working without him?
If you ask me, I would say he's probably being sarcastic or explaining the extent that we'd have to change our identity to get him to start firing in all cylinders, just like he did at Inter Milan. Because Inter was, under Antonio Conte, whether most people like it or not, was a counter-attacking team.
Yeah. And he's brought it at Spurs too, and that's what they won Man City.
Exactly.
Having good counter-attack.
Yeah. Exactly, and that's not what Chelsea is. We have an identity. We like to control the game, play at our own terms, and then get something like that. But we can't. For us to get Lukaku to be firing on all cylinders, it will mean doing what Yomi is saying here, and that's ugly. And believe me, Chelsea fans don't want that. The last time we played like that, thinking it was going to help us beat Manchester City, and they dealt with us. You could argue that was one of the reasons why Antonio Conte lost his Chelsea job, plus the Diego Costa issue.
Yeah.
So this is really, really, really dangerous.
I don't know, man. It's like everybody has been saying, Lukaku wasn't Tuchel's choice. Obviously, he was forced to use him, so he has to try to find some way. And in the beginning, Lukaku was doing perfectly fine, and then he added more difficulty to himself.
That's the thing. He started very well, and we thought, and had it not been for the injury, we wouldn't be talking that much about him right now.
Yeah.
So
That's the weird
that's
thing. I don't know, man.
how is how are we gonna solve this problem? Because if you Showtime says okay, he thrived with this formation, but Tuchel has refused to play. We could say has refused to play players in the that is preferred position so that to get the best out of them. And we've also seen what happened when he played them in the positions that they prefer.
Yeah.
So why are we always reverting to this and then playing players in the wrong positions? I'd rather me honestly, even if playing Christian Pulisic here is with an attacking intent, I'd rather play Chalobah here
Mm.
and play Christian Pulisic further forward because he's not because if you play him here and then expect him to return and defend, he might by subconsciously be just defensively minded and not be less attack and be less attack. Lukaku should make himself resilient with the formation and different tactics. I think the issue, I don't know, is going to be on that. And believe me, if he's playing for Tottenham right now, I think he'd be doing well, quite
Yeah.
well. I think he's a human being. Let's be truthful here. I think the whole situation will be getting to him, whether you like it or not. People are misconstruing the Costa Conte issue. Costa was the problem. Yep, that's the truth. And again, thank you. That's why I always like to have you around. And unfortunately, because we postponed the show, you misunderstood what I was saying. But I sent you a message saying I moved it to 10:30 p.m. UK. So now, Ty, what do you think? How do you think this problem will be solved? Because now I think the focus of the whole Chelsea community, especially content creators, is starting to shift to Thomas Tuchel himself. And I think Stab did say something earlier today to me that if he continues to play with this formation and players are being played out of position, at the time it will become his problem, and that could lead to his undoing at Chelsea Football Club. What do you
Yeah.
think?
Yeah, I would have to agree with what Stab said then, because that is true. And I mean, if you go back to the fact that he is refusing, in a sense, to play players in their natural position when it's proven that when they're playing there they fire, it's pretty rare. And he's in a sense he would be a victim of his own success, because it's a case where it worked on a rare occasion and now he's sticking with it because show the I don't remember his name now was saying,
Showtime.
yeah, Showtime was saying, um we feel this minus Chalaba and it worked. So I think in a sense he's going with what seemed to have worked and trying to hope that it continues to work. But I mean, if he continues to do it, it may undo everything he had done, and it'll cause a totally different issue to arise.
Hmm.
Yeah, but I mean,
So,
when it comes down to Lukaku, I don't know, man. It's difficult because we've tried everything. We've tried changing the formation, changing the people around him, letting him stay as the main man, and then changing people around him, and nothing has happened. He still isn't trying to work, trying to create for himself, trying to get the ball when nobody's passing it to him. He doesn't try. So it's difficult to really help somebody who's not even trying.
here's something again that I found out is this. I think the truth is what Stav also said is he's a human being and these things get to him. I've argued before, if he's earning that much money, then he should be mentally strong enough to deal with it. The concerning aspect of the whole thing for me is that is like I think you and I have talked about this already. He's starting to look disinterested.
Yeah,
He's starting to look as if the whole situation is affecting him mentally.
yeah.
And the question now is there a way back for him? Will he change? I hope it does. And that's where it gets dangerous for Thomas Tuchel also, because if things don't change, given how much we paid for the guy, it's going to cause some problems. Even though at the time we said, yeah, the club, they are with him, they support him, but we're talking about $100 million. And if at a certain time he doesn't find a way to make it work, it will become a problem for him. What do you think, Ty?
Yeah, it could. It could, because I mean, like you said, the consensus and the narrative was that the board was behind him when it comes on to the Lukaku situation. But I mean, like we're saying, if it's a case where he's a board signing, we know what happens if Tuchel isn't able to get the best out of him. They may just call it quits and go their separate ways and get somebody in who can actually try to get the best out of him. So yeah, it could be an issue if some solution isn't found or something is done to at least get him to just at least score some goals.
So overall, what kind of a game are you expecting, Ty? We have the lineup there, and again, let me ask Yomi, you and Bayina. Okay, Stav just joins. Stav, welcome to the stream.
Good evening.
Good evening. What time is it? What time is it where you are right now?
Nearly 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
I was asleep. That's why I missed the start. I thought
no problem.
I thought you meant tomorrow.
No. I meant because I had to go. I had to, go do something personal that was very important. So, and that was why I tried to reach out people to host it in my absence, but I just decided anyway. You know what? Let me just move it up 3 hours. So, Stav, overall, what do you think about this lineup we have here? Then we come down to the system on why we're switching back to three at the back system.
I have less issue with the system at in the Champions League. Yeah, my issues are with English domestic football.
Yeah,
with the system, right?
So you're saying that the system in the Champions League is effective?
Well, not necessarily, but it's easier to operate it because you're allowed more time on the ball, and people like Ziyech and Pulisic or Havertz playing in behind Lukaku, they're going to get more time on the ball, and it's more spread out as well. But the discussion we had earlier, the problem Tuchel's going to have is sooner or later, right? He's too rigid. You know what my feelings are. We haven't got the players that make this system effective, like down the wings. Yeah, and he persists with it. He just persists with it. Right? He said that he went 4-1-4-1 because of injuries and things again. He might surprise us tomorrow. He might still go 4-1-4-1. I don't see
Possibly.
it. And I haven't watched his press conferences because I've just he needs to be more adaptive, right? He can't be so rigid. If the players are available, okay, right? The system, but for me, even if the players like Chilwell and Reece James, right, are fit, the effectiveness of the two behind the striker are even a twofold if they can go out wide occasionally as well. Now, Saturday, he played Havertz wide left and he played Pulisic in the middle. Why? What's the point? That's playing two people out of position. What's the point? You've got Havertz is a midfielder. That's his natural position, right? He's an attacking mid, right? So just because he managed to plonk one ball into the box in the Club World Cup doesn't mean he's going to be effective over 90 minutes. What's the point? This is what I don't want Tuchel to get sacked, right? Because I like the way that he got some players going, and I like the way he talks and conducts himself in the main. But he's heading that way because they'll back him in the summer. But once they've backed him in the summer, he's going to be expected to deliver, and delivering is going to be the league title. That's what they're going to expect. And if he's playing too many players out of position and they're being less effective, look at Ziyech since he changed that system, right? Looks like one of the best players in the league. And that's what I've been screaming for. But even in this system, right, if you played Pulisic and Ziyech, right, behind Lukaku, it can work if you've got the right wing backs. But we haven't got the right wing backs, yeah, because that means Pulisic and Ziyech can drift wide, take defenders out, and allow the wing backs to come inverted, to come inside and go up the inside. Wingers are always better at attacking people than wing backs, because wing backs start life as defenders. The reason it worked so well with Moses was because he was a winger, and that's why he was effective as a wing back, right? He was used to taking people on. But this is totally different. But you can play two people behind the striker in this system if you've got the two wing backs. But you can't turn around and then say to them, I want you to stay central. They need to go wide as well, which allows Chilwell or Alonso and Reece or Aspie. And if you've noticed, Aspie cuts in a lot as well, right, when he's playing that position. And those two further forward are taking players out wide, which means you're opening spaces both for them and Lukaku. And you need to have someone in the midfield too who can drive forward and get in support through the centre as well. But we keep playing two DMs. That's in his mind, is we're playing two sixes. Yeah? Well, we played two sixes against Manchester City last season under Lampard when they beat us 3-1. We played two sixes in the cup final against Arsenal when we got beat, right? So I just don't see this thing about having to have two sixes. Just to protect the defence. The wing backs should go forward when they know it's the right time. You can play the 4-1-4-1 and still get effective attack play from the right back and the left back, because they can still attack. I mean, no one's going to tell me Ashley Cole wasn't any good at attacking, right? He just timed it better. He knew when to go. And the same thing with people like Paulo Ferreira, Dan Petrescu. They all knew when to go, right? It's about being organised and disciplined. And you have to be disciplined for 90 minutes or else you pay the price, like we did against West Ham, like we did against Burnley, like we did against Brighton, right? We weren't disciplined enough. And when players are being played out of positions they're not happy in, they don't remain disciplined. And if he's going to keep making players less effective, that's going to backfire on Tuchel as well.
So let me ask you this, Stav. I'm going to try and look at the formation again. Sorry, 1 second. I think this will be difficult because showtime is gone now. But he argued. I know you argued that the difference is that what's his name? Conte played two number 9s, but in us we usually the way Tuchel deploys it, he plays two 8s or 10s behind the number 9 man. Why is this? Would you say, to me? I'd say Lukaku isn't effective really. Maybe he started faltering in this system because maybe the players are being played out of position. Maybe that's what's the case. I'm not saying categorically that that's the case. Why do you think that it just seemed as if it's not working for him? But it's no difference. It's still 3 at the back system.
I think what's the in my mind the problem is that when we play this system, it's not high tempo enough. We don't push the ball fast, like a couple of people have said in the chat. We don't get the ball forward quick enough, and we don't do with any form of width, right? And what's happened is because he's not been getting the passes from the 2-8s or the 2-10s or whatever you want to call them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because he's not been getting the ball, right, where he wants it, he's become disillusioned. So now when you're playing with a 4-1-4-1, he's not moving enough because mentally speaking, he doesn't think he's going to get the ball, right? Because he's got used to the 2-8s not playing him in. But it's a lot harder to play him in at a slow tempo, right? And when there's no space and he's like got 4 or 5 defenders behind him, and then you've got 2 or 3 in front of the 2-8s, and they're trying to weave balls through. It's okay for us, like when we sat watching on TV, or you're at the ground even, and you're watching players trying to weave a ball through, we might say to ourselves, oh, why didn't they play him through? Why didn't they play him in? Why haven't they played the ball through? But on that pitch at ground level, they might not have the same view we have. You understand what I'm saying? Right?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, so they might not have the same view. So then you've got Havertz, you've got Pulisic or Ziyech, whoever it is, right? Mason Mount, right? Then they've not got the. I'm not saying they haven't got the vision, but it looks different to them because they're looking and they're trying to weave it between 2 or 3 defenders to get it to him, which is why I prefer the 4-1-4-1 and play with the width. And then you've got the wing, right back and left back pushing forward occasionally, right? Well, not occasionally, they can get forward a lot more, especially if you've got one person who's sitting all the time, who knows what he's doing, right? And that person is unfortunately not Jorginho. He's not quick enough, right? He doesn't read the game quick enough. Did you watch Liverpool the other day? Did you see the through ball by Henderson?
Yeah, to Luis Diaz.
Yeah. When have you ever seen Jorginho play a ball like that? Right? And I keep hearing people saying, oh, but he plays the ball really well. He does this, he does that. He gets it in the ball in behind. He always overhits it or underhits it. Right? He's no Fabregas. He's not like a Fabregas. He's not like Ruud Gullit or Glenn Hoddle, people who could put a ball on a sixpence and play it through with one touch. Right? That's not Jorginho. Jorginho takes the ball, holds it, right, and looks up. And sometimes he's too slow. So if we're lacking the tempo, it's easier for teams to defend. Against Tottenham, 3 times we played with a high tempo, and 3 times they couldn't cope with it. We passed it around them like really easily because the tempo was quick, pass, move, and every player knew what he had to do, and every player was comfortable and playing more naturally. So I put a comment just before I came on into the studio regarding the system, right? People were saying it was working, etc., right? That is over 10 games, right, that it worked, right? If you take into account the 7 games in the knockout stages last season, and we still lost 1 to Porto, and we drew away to Real Madrid, right? We beat Man City 1-0, or 1-0, as you like to call it in America, right? And it was really close. And we could have quite easily lost that final, right? We could have quite easily lost that final. And if Pep didn't
let me ask you this, Stav. Now, the system, like the issue, like you argued, is because we can't quite move the ball quickly to get it to the number 9 man as quickly as possible so that he can do something with it. So are you suggesting that change of personnel in the midfield area will help solve the problem?
Well, we haven't got a person in that midfield area that can solve. The one person who probably could have done that, right, is on loan at Norwich. He's the one person who has that pass, right? And he's not even a DM, naturally. Right? He played there in an emergency when we had problems, and Lampard played him there in a couple of cup games and that. right? So that wasn't his natural position. He's more like a Gallagher. If you had Gallagher in that midfield, the ball would progress quicker as well, right? And with Gilmour, the ball would progress quicker because Gilmour finds the pass, say to Gallagher, who then moves the ball quickly, or Kante when he's on form, and Kovacic when he's on form, right? We don't have a natural defensive mid. We don't have one, right? Which is why they're looking at a couple now. But I don't know what the answer is because he's now become disillusioned. You can see it in his body language.
Yeah, in his body language. So let me ask you, that leads to the next question I have for you, and then I'll go to Ty. Is this situation salvageable? Because we've had players, and those players, once it gets to the level of, whatever is happening gets to the measure that it starts to affect their mental ability or their mental, let me say, you could say well-being. I think that would be correct because it is affecting their performance. When something is affecting you mentally, that it can be seen that it affects with the work you do, it's affecting your mental well-being. Do you think it's salvageable?
Yeah, he's reached the stage now where he just naturally believes he's not going to get the ball. Why should I bother? It's salvageable.
Oh my gosh, I'm dead.
It's salvageable, right, by having more width and getting midfielders to push forward in behind him, right? When we had Drogba, it was different with Drogba.
What if he's already had his mindset on leaving the club?
Well, we don't know that. We're just making an assumption.
Okay, my question is, what if that's the case?
Well, if that's the case, then what else are you going to do? We should have kept Brozier then, shouldn't we? Should have had a backup. If you're going to play with Werner instead of Lukaku, you're still going to have the same issues because his finishing and his confidence go down easy as well. His work rate, you can't argue with Werner's work rate, right? The other way around it is to try the same system. Reece is due back. Try the same system against. Who can we try it against? We can try that system with Werner in there and try and have him feeding off Lukaku, right? So 4-1-4-1, right? With Werner just slightly withdrawn into the middle four, right? You've got the two wingers, and then you've got Werner playing as the Mason Mount was playing, right, where he's got freedom to run around. Because if you notice, even when we played the 4-1-4-1, Mason wasn't static. He had freedom, and he drifted out wide both sides. He'd go in behind, right, and he was combining with Ziyech and Aspie, Mason, and Werner could play the same role, right? Werner's better if he's passing and moving. I don't like him running with the ball because he never seems to be totally under control. So, well, Mason's...
Yeah, I think that's the same. I think all our attackers, the current attackers at the club, they all have the same issue, lack of the ability to get ball under proper control. And it's annoying, very, very, it's a very, very, it's a situation that, yeah, go ahead.
It's not the case with Ziyech, is it? Now he's happy
No.
playing out wide.
Like, let's say those that can play in the number 9 position.
You mean the strikers?
The strikers, yes. No, Ziyech has perfect control. Kai Havertz has a delicious control. Christian Pulisic has a very good control too. I'm just talking about the number 9s.
That's why, right, I said just play Pulisic naturally left, right? Ziyech naturally right. And then you can play Havertz in that 4, in the centre part, right? You have one holding, and then the person next to Havertz, whether that's Kovacic or Kante, can play a dual role. They can drop in and support Jorginho when needs be, or get in and get behind the striker. But that could be Werner anyway. But Havertz, like the other day, he played Havertz wide left played Pulisic in the middle. He's instantly neutralised 2 players, right? They want to play. They'll play whatever he asks them to play because they want to play. But it doesn't mean that they're happy or as effective. You saw Ziyech when he scored 2 or 3 weeks ago when he didn't celebrate the goal. Yeah, and everybody was questioning him. Why is he not celebrating and all that, right? And now you've seen him when he's played out wide and he's scored. He's got a big smile on his face. He's happy because he's out where he thrives. But this is what I'm talking about, Tuchel putting his job in danger because sooner or later it's going to become more and more where players are not happy, they're not functioning right, and we're not going to be winning games we should be winning. And people have to realise, even with the 2 wing backs, I would first, well, at the beginning I think it was Alonso, wasn't it? And he was performing because he knew that Chilwell was going to challenge. Now he knows Chilwell's out, and he knows he's going to get his games anyway, and he's in a comfort zone, right? But even when we had both of them, we were still drawing in with teams like we drew with Villarreal, we drew with Southampton, we drew with Aston Villa, right? All 3 penalties. You know what I mean? It wasn't until we switched to the 4-1-4-1 that we started taking control of the games against Tottenham, right? And we were thriving under that. And the same thing in the FA Cup. People are going to say, oh, yeah, but we only beat them 2-1, right? But that's the FA Cup. It's a totally different competition altogether. Lower league teams lift their game as if they're professional, like Premier League players or Championship players.
Now let's bring it back just quickly to the lineup, and then I'll ask DJ. There's something I really would want him to say something.
I can't see the lineup.
Oh, you can't see it on the screen, but I can help you. I'll read it out to you. Now, bringing it back to the lineup, we have Mendy between the sticks, Chalobah to the right of the 3 centre backs, Thiago Silva in the middle, Rudiger on the left, the 2 6-6s, Jorginho and Kovacic. Left wing back, we have Alonso. Right wing back, we have Pulisic. 2 number 8s or 2 number 10s, depending on the application. We have Havertz and Ziyech and the number 9 man, Lukaku. Do you have any objection there, or do you think it's good the way it is?
He's still plays out of position centrally, and he's still playing Pulisic.
That is, we're going by if he plays. If he plays 3 at the back,
the likelihood
remember, I didn't select that alone. We have people here. Yeah. We went by votes, but we're just having a conversation. What wasn't what you see there, and people picked Pulisic for the right wing back position because it looks looking more likely that is what Thomas Tuchel is going to do, because Cesar Azpilicueta is unfit. And it doesn't look like the moment he's willing to start Chalobah, because I wanted Chalobah to start in that area while Christensen starts down here. But that's, by the way, you were saying something so that I can go. And DJ, before I come to you, welcome to the stream, my brother.
Thank you very much. How are you guys? You all right?
Yes, brother. I can't complain.
Excellent.
So can you see the lineup? Do you have any objections there? We'll pick these based on who people think will start.
Who? Are you talking to me or DJ?
Okay, go ahead. If you can see, go ahead. If you can go quickly, Stav, and then we can go to DJ.
Yeah, my only problem is that I can actually see him switching to this system, right?
Yeah, and that's why we picked this. Yeah, because we can see him reverting to 3 at the back.
Well, I just don't see the point of it without the 2 main wing backs. I don't see the point in it. Like, Pulisic is going to be out wide, right? But he's still having to drop back, and is he going? He's going to make us weaker defensively, playing in that position.
That has happened. I've witnessed that firsthand. I mean, whenever he plays in that position, he's been so awful. That is to an annoying extent that I hate seeing him being deployed in that position.
Because he wants to play, doesn't he? Right, and he'll just play where he's asked to play. Right, doesn't mean it's where he's most effective or where he's gonna. I just see that this system, without the 2 wing backs, right?
Mhm.
I see it as pretty negative, and it allows teams to be structured to counter it. Against Lille, that could be different because they don't play us in the league and things like that. They don't watch us.
They play 4-4-2.
Yeah. Well, it could be different against them, but I just think that teams have now learned how to counter this, and I would hate to do that on Sunday in the Carabao, especially
Okay.
without the wing backs. I don't want to see people like Pulisic and that playing as wing backs.
I hope that's not the case on Sunday. DJ, coming to you, what do you think? If this is the lineup, do you think you see Thomas Tuchel doing some things differently? DJ, are you still with us? Okay, Ty, are you?
He always has
Ty,
issues
are you
with
still there?
internet.
Yeah, I think DJ, maybe he's having audio issue. Let me see.
He always has
Sorry?
issues with his internet. I said he's always got issues
I know,
with his
and most
internet.
especially this period. Sorry, just catching up. Any reasons for not starting back four with Saar? The argument there was that it is the Champions League, and Thomas Tuchel would most likely revert to the back four system, even though we don't have the specialized wing backs who's helped us execute the system very effectively. We don't have Ben Chilwell, we don't have Reece James, but still he's persisted in playing the system. He's played the systems on occasions, even when you least expect him to do so, he's done so. So we're thinking maybe this is the formation he will start. And Alonso, he's played him. He's trusted him in most cases. I think he would trust him in the Champions League. That's why we think he's going to go with this formation, because he's very stubborn, if you ask me. Even when he doesn't have the personnel to execute the system, he still plays it. I don't know if that answers your question. Stav, if you have anything else to add to this question that Mikhail asked, there you go ahead.
He's obviously got experience of playing against Lille, having been at PSG. Saar's obviously got experience because he came from France. So I don't have any issues with him playing left back in a four. I just don't like I said, for the reasons I gave, right? The system might be okay for the Champions League, right? But with the right personnel. That's my issue, with the right personnel. If you watch Chilwell and you watched Reece James, right? They played wing backs, but when the further they got forward up the pitch, the more inverted they became. They started going inside, and then the wingers would drift out and take the defenders away. This system, right, is too rigid. It's too centralised without the wing backs. But even the wing backs cut in. Right, Chilwell and Reece will always cut in into the last third of the pitch. So you're still not playing with any width. So anybody who defends in numbers, it's easier for them because they don't have to worry about the flanks wide, because we don't go wide. Even the wing backs cut in. That's why I want to play with two wingers, so that we've got the width, and they go out, they open the space for the wing backs, and also they drag defenders with them, which makes it even easier. And it also makes it easier for Havertz, makes it easier for Mason Mount, or whoever else is drifting in. Right, who's with us now?
It's Ty.
Ty, are you there? Is Ty still there?
So, Tyron, are you there? You go ahead, Star. When he comes back, you'll let us know. I think DJ is back now. DJ, can you hear us now?
Yeah, bro. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, crystal clear. Okay, go ahead, Star.
Yeah.
Can you round off? Let's go to DJ quickly and get his opinion on the lineup. and why if he thinks Thomas Tuchel is going to start with back three. And then there was a question I wanted to ask him. I think I'd like to get his thoughts on that. But go ahead, Stav.
No, go ahead with DJ while you've still got him on.
Okay.
Big up to you. Big up to you all, by the way.
Big up, DJ. So, DJ, I know you can see the lineup on the screen. This was it was a democratic process. I didn't just select people here. We had a few people then. And again, my apologies for postponing the show for 3 hours because people waited and we couldn't start when I was supposed to start. I had to go for an errand. So now we have it as you're seeing it on the screen. Do you think it will be like this, or you think it will be a different formation? If a different formation, why do you think so? And do you think any of these guys will not start?
Yeah, first of all, thanks for having me on your show, first of all, bro.
You're welcome, bro. Always welcome.
I think the only one I think would probably be a change. I heard you saying earlier on that Aspie's not fit. From my understanding from Thomas Tuchel's press conference today, I think he said Aspie's actually fully. I think he is fit. I think he is fit and he's amongst the group. So he could be the one who could come into the team today ahead of Pulisic in that team today. I mean, that lineup is a good lineup. The two of Havertz, Ziyech, and Lukaku. I mean, that's. I probably would say that probably would be fair to go for, even though my issues with Lukaku are still, he's not scoring goals. Still, I mean, would I risk Timo Werner in that role? Maybe, I don't know. That could be another option, maybe, to come in there. But the way that team is lined up at the moment, I think he could go that way. But it depends. It depends on his on how they're going to line up. From what I saw from the lineup you put for them, it looks like it's a 4-4-2 for them. So
that's a traditional formation.
Yeah, it'd be interesting for me to see if they go for it. If we go for it at back and Malang Sarr comes in there instead. I don't know. Instead of the wing back roles, which could be another option again. But no, I think if Aspie's fully fit, I think he'll come into this team. I think he'll start as well, personally, and I think he could play as the. He'll probably play in Pulisic's position.
Yeah, one of the reasons why the things were argued that we had to leave him out, we think maybe he will be rested to start the game against Liverpool in the final.
Yeah, fair enough.
You think that's possible?
That could be a possibility. I mean, it depends. It depends on how fully fit he is. I mean, yeah, I can understand why you would think that. I mean, obviously Liverpool's match is important as well on Sunday. But yeah, I mean, I probably would say if he's not obviously if he's actually going to save him for that, then I'd say that lineup is a pretty good line. I know we're saying Pulisic is the wing back again. Does he do it as effectively as Hudson-Odoi? For me, I don't think he does. But we know Hudson-Odoi is not fit either. I think if Hudson-Odoi was fully fit, he'd be playing instead of Pulisic in that right wing back position. But yeah, I think I probably would say that's a fair lineup, mate. I think that would be a good lineup. I think that would be something we could go ahead with and see how we go. You know, as long as we score, we win with that lineup and that attack. We should do.
Okay, let's switch to something else until I bring you up to par now. Now, we had Showtime on the panel here, and he argued that Lukaku thrived with this system under Antonio Conte at Inter Milan, and he started very well with this system in his second stint at Chelsea. But all things, after the injury and the story, we know what happened and all that. But that's by the way. Now, we're saying, is this system not really? Because you could say it's not really working for him. Yeah. Because players are being played out of position. So if you play a system where these players, each individually from Ziyech to Pulisic, if they're played in their preferred positions, that maybe they will create more chances for Romelu Lukaku, and that will help solve the problem, because this is a problem we must solve. We can't sell him. I
agree. Yeah.
So what do you think?
I think, when you come across a stat, mate, I think it was probably the work. He actually broke a record on Saturday, being like, in the whole match, he touched the ball 7 times, mate. 7 times for a striker in itself. I mean, that for me is a record. That's a record you don't really want to be celebrating. You don't really want to have. And for me, look, he needs to. I mean, people are saying he needs to be given. He thrives on chances. But how I look at the situation is, it was funny that there was a program, there was a thing I was watching earlier on today about Diego Costa, Didier Drogba, I think Fernando Torres, and Morata, and then Lukaku. It was mentioned about they were not getting much service as well. But what two of those strikers were actually doing, even though they were not getting the service, I'm talking about Didier Drogba and Costa, they were actually doing things for themselves. And I know Sodoraki's on here. He'd probably fill in and say he'll know that as well. We'd all know that Costa and Drogba used to score goals without always getting setups from coming in from our wingers or from our midfield. And for me, I don't think Lukaku does that enough. And he needs to work a little bit more. Yes, he needs to thrive on. We need to set him up more. I agree. He needs to be given those opportunities to score. But he also, sometimes I just feel he needs to work as well, which I think he doesn't do much in the team. Sometimes his body language in the team tells me he doesn't really want to be on the field to play. And I think that's affecting the whole team in general. I don't know what you guys think of that. But look, with Havertz and Ziyech there, they will pass the balls to him. It's just about him just finding him and him scoring goals. That's what it comes down to. But he also has to work for himself as well in the team to score.
I think you make a very good argument there in terms of his body language. And even before that starts happening, I think it was Sodoraki who was begging, literally begging, so we can tone down our criticism of the player. And I was arguing against him, telling him if he earns that much money, he should be able to deal with any sort of criticism that comes his way or critique that comes his way. Because during the last game against Crystal Palace, he looked like he doesn't want to be there.
Yeah,
which means it's a sign that the whole situation is affecting him now mentally, and that's very dangerous. And here is where it is dangerous for me, DJ. You let me know what you think about it. And I think Stav was one of the persons that raised that concern that if Tuchel, again, I'm not for us changing our identity or the way we play to accommodate him. And I'm going to look at this comment here, which makes sense to me. I've argued that before.
Anybody there?
This one here. Can you see this one here?
Hello?
I think in order to make Lukaku play well.
Is that you, DJ?
No, no.
Can you guys still hear me?
Who's talking?
I'm still talking. Can you guys still hear me? I was saying something,
He's having trouble connecting.
Okay. So now, DJ, if you're looking at this comment here, it says, I think in order to play well, we should take the possession and let the opponents have the ball. Then with fast build-up and Lukaku might play good. This guy is being sarcastic to some extent here, but I understand what he's saying. Yeah. Because the truth is, I know Sadraki agrees with this. Lukaku thrives where there is space. Yeah. Whenever there is space, it has to be with a cross that you get to his head. And the truth is, we have to be objective here and be truthful. We're not bashing him. We're just looking at the situation. He's not the best aerially. That's the truth. Now, if we try to change the way we play, then we have to become a counter-attacking team and then intentionally let opponents. I think that's what Yomi is trying to say here. Intentionally let the opponent have the ball, come at us, and then we defend deep and then find space and counter and create chances for him. He can finish it because the majority of the goals he scored at Inter Milan came that way, and that's how Conte plays. If you like to keep the ball, or if you have a good enough team, Conte will always let you have the ball and then counter, and we don't play like that. And that's a big problem. So before I ask you that question on how Lukaku's performance and Tuchel's lack of, solution to this problem, how he might cause he himself a problem. What do you think about this comment? And that is if you understand what I explained to you.
Are you talking to me? Are you talking to me?
Yeah, you, DJ.
No. Listen, I get where you're coming from on the comment on what this guy's saying as well in the chat about the counter attack. But like you just said, we don't play that well. We don't play that way. And you know what I will also say is any Chelsea fan. I'm not talking relating to you, but any Chelsea fan that wants to come out and start doubting Thomas Tuchel in terms of how he sets up his teams and how we play. Just look what he's basically done since he's come to the football club. He's won as a Champions League. We've won a Super Cup, and we've won the world. We're world champions as well. So for me, he's accommodating what we were to come out and say in terms of this comment, almost saying like, we should accommodate Lukaku in the way, change the way that we play. Look,
no, he's being sarcastic here because if you read his other comments, yes.
Yeah, I do believe, and I'm just gonna go back to it. But for me, what I'll say to it on as well is, look, yeah, he does. We all know, okay, Lukaku, how he was at Inter Milan. Yeah, we know how he used to thrive and what he used to do there, right? But for me, look, he needs to also. I just feel as a fan. I mean, I just feel that he's not working hard enough to get into the positions where he should be to score these goals. And we've seen that, I think, on countless of times now when passes have gone into that box and he's just not there to finish off when the balls come in there. There are times when the team don't play to his strengths. I agree on that one as well. Okay. But sometimes I just feel he needs to sometimes drop back as well and try and get goals for himself, not just depend on others around him. And, look, I think we will see the best of Lukaku, and I think it will come. But for me, at this moment in time, I just think at this moment in time, he's a liability in the team at the moment for me. That is just my honest opinion on it all, personally. That's what I think.
Yeah. I think we can all agree there's a problem right now, and even Sodraki agrees there's a problem, and he agrees it's starting to affect him. And you can't blame him. We can't really blame the fans or the manager how bad things have turned out to be at this point. He didn't help himself after the injury. He didn't help himself. We know what happens. I'm trying the best I can to avoid talking about it because we should move beyond that and then find a solution, because we have him here now. We can't sell him. Nobody will give us even 70 to take him. I don't see that happening. So now, the question now for you, DJ, is this. If Lukaku continues to underperform, given that he's a £100 million signing, no matter how good Tuchel is, and because it seems as if Tuchel also is obliged or is being told to play him no matter how bad he plays. Because to me, truthfully, he shouldn't stay 90 minutes on the pitch against Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
He's become a liability, whether we like it or not. And that doesn't mean he's a bad player. He's not just the profile of player that we should have gone for in the first place. But we have him, we need a solution. Now, if Lukaku continues to underperform and Tuchel cannot solve that problem and get him firing on all cylinders, no matter how much we love Thomas Tuchel, you know what's going to happen. What do you think?
You see, I think where I would have agreed, where I'd come onto that one is I would have probably agreed with you maybe a couple of seasons ago. But for me, Roman has come out and backed Thomas Tuchel, and he's actually even after we won the World Club tournament, reports were going around saying that he's backing him for the summer. So for me, and also we've also seen in a situation, and Sodaraki and probably Ty would know this anyway. Generally, I think the last time a manager was backed, correct me if I'm wrong here, was Jose Mourinho when Roman Abramovich backed him. He very rarely has done it with other managers that have come and gone at their football club, regardless of whatever we've won with their managers. This time round, however, Thomas Tuchel has always been the guy he's wanted to get. I think people will also go back. He was a guy that we wanted long before Conte came to the football club as our manager. He wanted Thomas Tuchel back then, and he couldn't get him. So for me, for him, now that we've got him, I cannot see for the life of me him to be sacked, for him to go, because the situation with Lukaku is not working. This is not down to the manager. We've signed the player. He's obviously, all he can do is drill him when they're training every day. He drills him every day in his training sessions, telling him what he needs to do, but he can't play the game for him. This is what Lukaku should be doing. He did it as a kid. Doing it as a ground where he's been scoring goals for his whole life. So for me, how I look at it, this is not a Thomas Tuchel situation. This is a Lukaku problem, like we had with Werner last season. people were blaming the managers for Timo Werner last season. Again, I wasn't saying that. It's another situation where you sing a kid, where we were seeing Werner banging in goals left, right, and centre in the Bundesliga. We've seen since he's come to the Prem, it's not been that easy for him at all. Whereas Lukaku, why I don't give Lukaku that same excuse? It's because he's already played in the Prem. He played. Okay, he didn't play much for Chelsea when we first signed him, but he's had loans with Everton, he's had loan spells at West Brom, and he's done it with Manchester United, and he's banged goals in for them. Okay, people will say the games maybe changed when he went to Inter Milan and come back, but for me, it hasn't. The guy should know the guy should have. You've got a killer instinct to score goals. This is what he should be doing. And for me, at this moment in time, this is not on Tuchel. This is on him because he's not doing what he should be doing. And to be fair, it's not just him. Our whole team is not doing what they should be doing at this moment in time. Yeah, and again, you can't blame it on the manager. He manages, he coaches his players for them to go and do what they need to do. But when they actually get on that pitch, they should go out there and prove it. And at this moment in time, there are some of them that are not doing it, and Lukaku is the main culprit of them all. And I'm not picking on plays, by the way. I'm just putting out because he's a £100 million striker. I just expect more from him being a £100 million worth striker.
It is a very, very, peculiar situation because I understand your argument. I remember when it was rumored that Roman said about what's his name, the guy that worked on that sent Sir Bobby Robson a letter how he wants to become a manager, AVB. I remember the rumor that he said no matter what happens, AVB stays, and then the next year he fired AVB. This is money we're talking about. We're talking about 100 million pounds plus. We're not talking about just performances alone. If he was a player for 35 million or 60, then you could argue that Roman will look away. But at the point, even if you look around the community, look at content creators. I hate naming names and I won't. One of my favorite content creators also, I like him so much, has started to argue that Thomas Tuchel, even that's a Durakis argument too. And I'm starting to see things differently a bit too, given that some players have been played out of position to some extent. I argue also that they should be able to execute whatever role they played in, because they played there before. They've been playing there ever since before we started having problems. Now, if you look, my point is, if you look around the community, people are starting to doubt Thomas Tuchel. Even some of his biggest supporters, you'd hear them start their statement something like this: I love Thomas Tuchel, but this, but that, but those players, this player playing out of position. We must find a solution. That's how it starts. How it starts. And the owner is a human being. 100 million is not a chicken change. It's a big money. And at the time, just this past year, the club lost 140 million pounds plus.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
So it makes it difficult, no matter how Roman loves him. At a point, it will become an issue. Hopefully, I'm praying that instead of Lukaku to cost us to lose Thomas Tuchel, let Tottenham come and say, give us Lukaku and take Kane, but I don't see that happening, especially that with the kind of performance, the kind of player that Kane has shown Conte, look at what I can give you, except if he wants to leave Tottenham. So it's a very, very peculiar situation, and we're not sure what's going to happen. Ty, are you still there?
Yeah, I am. I was just listening to you guys.
Yeah, so what do you think? You get DJ Sav's point, and I get it too, and I know Roman loves the kind of football we play now, even though, and again, before I come to you, Ty, there's a pattern to the way Chelsea hire and fire managers. In most cases, you're hired to solve a problem, and after solving that problem, you're given money to build your own team. And after you build your own team, then the jury will be out for you. You are expected to deliver. I know wholeheartedly and truthfully, we cannot argue that Thomas Tuchel has been given the money to build his own team, because really there are rumors that Lukaku wasn't his choice. Saul Niguez was signed up just to do his agent a favor, who has closed a very good relationship with the club. So I think he still stays because he hasn't built his own team. And that was why staff here argued that the moment he builds his own team, if the issues persist, then there is trouble. Except if before time, those players who have been arguing that they're being played out of position, that about 60-70% of them leaves because we know Ziyech stays. And I think Tuchel have started playing him in his preferred position, and Ziyech is enjoying himself, and I think he stays on. So, Ty, what do you think how this issue could lead to the, Thomas Tuchel leaving Chelsea? Do you think it's a possibility, or do you believe in what DJ South said, that no matter what, he stays?
Oh, you know what? I think he could stay, but like you said, it's always to solve a problem. And for me, and I think the narrative would be that he was brought in to solve the issue of, in a sense, Havertz, the generational talent, if you may, not firing, Werner trying to find some balance to improve their performance. So in a sense, he's probably improved or enhanced the ability of Kai Havertz. Werner is probably, obviously is Werner. There's not really much to be done there because that's something else. But I think, thinking about the chopping and change of managers, it's possible that it could happen. I'd hate to see it because I want us to give him a chance to build a dynasty. But like you said, if it's a case where if Lukaku becomes overbearing and it becomes a case where he becomes a player to really allow things to go in a negative way, it could cause an issue. I think the chosen perspective has fallen off his stream.
Has he fallen off his stream? Has he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll just keep going. He'll come back on.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that he can do something, and I mean, what he's done, it's tremendous. But I mean, if it's a case where he continues to persist with the players, the practices that he decides to do with certain players, it could become a downfall for him, and it could cause him his job. I'd hate to see it, like I said, but I don't know, man. I'd like to hope that what is being said in the media can be believed to an extent, because I don't really like to believe what the media says in full, because they're known to twist things for a story and things like that. But I mean, if it's a case where he can outlive the past managers who've had similar situations with players not firing, and it's becoming an issue for them, it'd be fantastic, because I'd like to see him do something. But I think he has to realize that certain things that he's doing needs to be changed in some regard to reduce the likelihood of that happening.
See what my take on it. What my take on is it, and I don't know what you both think of this. Even Sodaraki, I don't know what you guys think of this, but for me, if we can't, you just mentioned a thing there about chopping and changing managers. Yeah, if we're going to go by one player again that is not performing, and it's all going to come down to Thomas Tuchel losing his job because of that one player. There's only two. I can only name two managers out there that can probably get the best out of Lukaku. Okay, and sometimes that's Chelsea fans, and the Chelsea fans that have been doubting Thomas Tuchel have really got to start asking the question. There's only two managers out there that have got the best out of Lukaku, and that is Conte and Roberto Martinez, the national coach. Now, I know we're going to get Conte from Tottenham again, because I don't think that's ever going to happen. You're trying to tell me the Chelsea fans are going to want Roberto Martinez to come to Chelsea and solve the Lukaku issue? I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. So this is my take on it will be, okay, people then talk about, there's Ten Hag out there. Oh, there's others. There's Zinedine Zidane out there. All right. For me, look, Zidane, as far as I know, wants the French national job.
Me?
Yeah, we can hear you, bro.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
Sorry,
go on.
my system had an issue. You were saying something.
Yeah, I was just saying, there's only two managers. You guys were just talking about the whole Thomas Tuchel, and there are some people on YouTube that are doubting Thomas Tuchel.
Mm.
For me, how I look at the situation is this.
How I look at the situation is this.
There's repeat out there, man. I can hear myself echoing.
Yeah, there's two. Yeah, there's two. Towards perspective.
DJ's Wi-Fi is going again.
I can hear my echoing.
No, it's not DJ. It's mine. Go ahead, DJ. I can hear you guys. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just saying there's only two managers.
Go ahead, DJ. I can hear you guys. Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Turn your microphone off.
All right, go ahead, guys. I can hear you. Go ahead. Done.
Okay. I was just saying to you, to the guys on the panel here, and to everyone probably reading and listening in the comments, and to you as well.
Yes.
There's only if we're going to go by this whole thing of Thomas Tuchel, he's not getting the best, and there are some fans out there, some content people on YouTube that are doubting him as a manager. Well, if people are going to doubt him as a manager, then we might as well just look at the two managers that are going to get the best out of Lukaku. And for me, as I said, one of them is Conte. He's at Tottenham. He ain't going to leave Tottenham. And even if he was to leave Tottenham, if they finish bad at the end of the season, he's certainly not coming back to Chelsea. So we can forget about that one. That bridge is crossed. The second one is Roberto Martinez, the national coach of the Belgium national team. Now you're trying to tell me a lot of Chelsea fans are going to want him to come to Chelsea to solve out the Lukaku situation because Thomas Tuchel's not getting the best out of him. Nah, man, I cannot see that for the life of me happening. And if Chelsea fans are talking about Thomas Tuchel not getting the best out of Lukaku, then they're going to say someone like Roberto Martinez just to solve the Lukaku situation. Then we're going back to the same old scenario as it's always been. Player power has won again over a manager. And just when I thought that, it was just as fans were thinking, Roman has actually backed Thomas Tuchel over this whole Lukaku situation since he's done the interview. You would think then it would be going back on themselves again and be like that. You can just see, I can just see a lot of riots going on, or issues happening with the fans and the board. Should Thomas Tuchel get sacked and we bring someone like a Roberto Martinez in, who can probably be the best person to solve the Lukaku situation, which I think will be a bad move personally for me because I don't knock Roberto Martinez as a good manager. I think he's a good manager, maybe as a national coach manager, but as a club manager, I don't think he's good enough for as a club manager. Not for Chelsea anyway.
So what do you think the solution is? What do you think will be the solution?
You got to stick by the manager, mate. People will talk about saying, okay, Lukaku was 100 million. Look, the situation with Lukaku is there's time for improvement with this guy. Okay, I know he's 28 years old. Yeah, do we give him another season next season? I mean, Brozier. I mean, I'd take Brozier back next season over this guy any day. We can see what Brozier's doing back at Southampton at the moment, on loan at Southampton. Yeah, I guess he needs someone to come and compete with him in that team. Imagine Brozier coming in and scoring goals, and Thomas Tuchel's getting the best out of Brozier, and he comes and he sits Lukaku on the bench next season. How's that going to look? So something's got to give, and I don't think getting rid of Thomas Tuchel is the answer. Yes, he might have some faults, maybe with not getting getting the best out of Lukaku in some ways, but this guy's a big top manager, mate. He's won things. You can't just keep getting rid of managers just to please a player. That's how I look at the situation anyway. And I'm sure Roman, who's backed Thomas Tuchel thus far, will continue to do that. And I hope he'll do the same thing again come the summertime. Because what I'm hearing from reports, he is going to back him in the summer with a huge transfer budget. Not that we're going to probably be spending a lot of money because we probably can't, but he's going to back him with some summer signings in the summer.
I think it's. Go ahead, Stav. You were going to say something.
Yeah, can I come in here? Two things. First thing is, I don't think the debt is that big a deal. I think we can download that to some of it off COVID. Yeah, and there'll be ways around that, right? So that's not that big an issue for me, right? Transfer budget. He will get money, but we're going to have to sell as well. And with Rudiger possibly going, and Aspie and Christensen. Well, Christensen's going, and to be honest, I couldn't care less. If we get Kunde instead of Christensen, that's fine by me. I can live with that, right? But I want to clarify something. Nobody on here has said that Tuchel will get fired because of Lukaku. right?
I didn't say that.
No,
I didn't say that, Sir
no,
Jockey.
no. But what I'm saying is, I'm clarifying to you because I don't know
Oh,
how long
okay,
you
all
were
right.
listening in, right?
Yeah.
Nobody said that he's going to get sacked just because of Lukaku, right? But there are other issues. There's the issues of Pulisic. There's the issue of Ziyech, Havertz, all these players getting the best out of them. And for me, the best out of them is to play them in their natural positions, right?
Agreed.
And the problem with Tuchel, as I see it, right, is rigidity to the system, right? I can see it. I'm okay with the system if Reece and Chilwell are playing, right, and then you're playing, say, Pulisic, and that just for the sake of argument, Pulisic and Ziyech behind the striker, whoever the striker is, whether it's Broja, whether it's Lukaku, right? By playing those two there, it's okay as long as he's not telling them, yeah, that they've got to stay central. They should be allowed to move out, drag defenders with them, and then allow Chilwell and Reece James to come inside and become inverted wing backs where they can attack the goal. Both of them have got hell of a finish on them as well, right? So we know if they're getting anywhere near goal, they're not scared to shoot, right? But if we're going to stick rigid to the 2-8s behind the striker, and he's telling the 2-8s have got to stay in those positions, right? And our width comes from the wing backs. It's not going to work as often as we would like it to, because we then are going to end up with Chilwell and Reece cutting in as well. They don't stay down and go down the byline often enough. That's the problem. When we had Hazard, right, he wasn't scared to go down to the byline and cross, and he wasn't greedy either, right? He would cross, he would get assists, right? And that's the type of player that Ziyech can be as well if he's out wide, right? So you're talking Havertz, you're talking Ziyech, you're talking Pulisic, Callum Hudson-Odoi even, right? Unless you're talking about 4 players there, you're talking about a striker, right? And if you're not going to utilise them to the strengths, I believe that the current system neutralises some of our attacking options and our fluidity and the tempo of our attacks. Right, Jorginho, I'm not going to. Coachila knows what I think, right? I think that Jorginho's fine international level, fine in Italy, where he's got time and space on the ball, right? But he's not a Fabregas. And if you need someone in that midfield who's going to be able to do what Fabregas did, right? And that's not Kante either. That's not the Kovacic either. The only one who could possibly do what Fabregas does, right, or did, right, is Mason Mount. Now, this system is too rigid, and basically we're defending, well, when we haven't got the possession with seven defenders, well, 2 number 6s and 5 defenders, right? And that we don't attack quickly enough to play counter-attacking football, as they comment previously. And once you start cheesing off Ziyech, Pulisic, and all those players I've mentioned, it then becomes a bigger problem. Now, if we're to believe what was in the media, that Tuchel wanted Dembele, my question, therefore, is why? Why would you want him, right? Just to play him as a number 8? What's the point of signing another winger? I don't think he's any better than Pulisic or Ziyech, right, when they're played in their correct position. So what's the option of signing him? We're going to need defenders. I think that's blatantly obvious now. And we're going to need a couple of attacking mids and a DM, right? We need the striker situation can be solved by bringing Broja back, right? And Broja gets told, you're not going on loan, you're coming back. Yes, you're playing for Chelsea. Right.
So, Stan, what do you think? You're saying switching the system will help solve the issue.
I don't have a problem with this system, right? Yeah, as long as he's not telling the 2-8s that they've got to stay central, right? And that's what's been happening. They've been staying central and they're not finding the space to move around and move the ball and interlinked with each other. It's only when they go wide that they become effective, right? And I know that with the wing backs, right, that the width's supposed to come from there, yeah, right? In a 4, if you had a 4 at the back and you played those two as full backs, right back, left back, they can still get forward, they can still attack. Aspie used to do it all the time, right? So you can still be effective and have width, right? And you saw in the cup game, right, that Mount, Aspie, and Ziyech, right, were combining really well down that right-hand side, and we were opening them up time and time again, right? We scored twice, hit the woodwork, was it 3 times? Yeah, I think 3 times. And their keeper made 3 or 4 really good saves, one outstanding one at least from Ziyech, right? So we were getting through, and the FA Cup's a different proposition, right? So he needs to be more adaptable. I keep hearing that he looks at the opposition and that's when he picks his formation and his players. But I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing it that he wants to play that system all the time, right? The 3-3-5, yeah. And that means you're leaving 3 attacking players on the pitch. Now, sometimes it's Havertz, sometimes it's Mason, right behind the striker, or both, or the wingers. But it's too centralised, and we don't play quick enough tempo for that. We need to get the ball.
I do agree with you that adaptability is key, and I think to some extent we have to agree he's very stubborn. Even in cases of also making changes, he makes changes too late in the game. Do I love him? I love him so much, and I want him to stay as long as possible at the club. I think he's one of the best managers we've had at the club. That's no doubt. So DJ, I don't know. Maybe when I was off, what you think the solution will be to getting Lukaku firing so that it doesn't become a problem for anybody? Because already, clearly, like you mentioned, he's a liability to the team because the whole situation is affected him. And again, it's not by anybody's design. He is the cause of why the situation worsened as it is. But we all make mistakes. We're not going to talk about that now. What do you think we can do? I don't know if you've already talked about it to solve this problem because it's affecting everybody. Are you still with us, DJ?
I think we've lost him again.
Okay. No problem. I think we've been streaming for 2 hours and 22 minutes. I think it's about time we call it a day. Ty, did you say anything regarding the situation?
Yeah, I did.
Already in my absence, or do you have anything else to say about it?
No, I said I had said it when you got bumped off.
Okay, I think we've had a very, very, fruitful discussion. We all have our opinions, and I think there's something to learn from everybody's input. DJ's input were great, and I think it's back so that we can get. DJ, I was asking if you have said anything on what you think the solution will be to get Lukaku firing, because the truth is it's affecting everybody, so to speak. And if it continues, it will eventually affect the manager too. Or what do you think will be the solution? So Deraki explains, and it's in clear details, that the truth is players are being played out of position, and he doesn't have a problem with the system. Even if he decides to play the 2-8s the way he deploys them, give them freedom and don't instruct them to just be static in that central area with freedom. Even Ziyech can play there and feel like he's playing on the flanks. So, DJ, what do you think will be the solution to this issue?
Can you guys hear me this time? Can you guys hear me this time?
Yes, crystal clear.
Yeah,
crystal clear.
Ah, brilliant. Excellent. Yeah, I'm sorry about my Wi-Fi, mate. It just keeps cutting on me every time. I don't know why. I think it's I've got bad weather around these ways. Yeah, it's look, going back to the whole Lukaku situation. Is what we're talking about Lukaku again? Yeah, on the Lukaku thing. For me, look, Lukaku at this moment in time, I personally think, for me, and I think for himself, I think he needs to be taken out of the limelight for a little while. I think his mind is not in the right in the right space at this moment in time. I think he needs to take
Good
some.
observation.
I think he needs to sit back. Maybe like people were saying about Timo Werner last year. They were saying last season. They were saying he needs to be taken out of the team. Make sure his mind's set in the right way that he wants to be here. Maybe some time out of the limelight for a little while. Because I think this whole let's be honest, this whole interview, and I know you don't want to harp onto it about it, but I think this whole interview has affected his game. Because even before the interview had to come out, I know he had come back from an injury. He was scoring goals for us, and then when this whole interview happened, he's just gone completely downhill. And you can see I don't know if it's the interview, it's this whole thing's affecting his game. And I think personally, this is why the fans are probably getting on his back more and more and more because, first of all, you go and do that interview, and then obviously then you get put back into the team. You then want to prove yourself, and then you're still not delivering after you've done all that. So for me, the fans are going to get more and more on his back. And I think of Thomas Tuchel, I know Thomas Tuchel probably finds it hard to drop him because he's a £100 million player, but I think he just needs to be dropped. Because if people think about it realistically, before he actually got this bad injury and when he was out, we scored, I think, about 26 or 28 goals without him in the team.
And
I don't know if you guys remember that.
And created so many chances.
And created so many chances.
Disparity, the disparity in his absence and his presence is quite clear. And again, that's why something needs to give. So we need to find a solution to, how do I phrase it, to solve that problem? Because it is clear that he's a problem. He's a liability because his absence is what made it clear. Look what happened in his absence. Look how many goals we're able to create. Look how many goals we're able to score. Look how fluid our attack were in his absence. So you make a great point there. But then again, he's here. We have to accommodate him. So go ahead, DJ.
Yeah, as you said, he's here. We have to accommodate him. I get that, and I think the problem is I'm sure TT at the back of his mind is probably thinking he probably wants to drop him, but he can't because he's under instructions to play him and start him in games so he can improve. At this moment in time, his body language for me, as I said it earlier on, his body language is not just affecting himself, but I sometimes feel it affects the team as well. And when you have that kind of situation where it's affecting the team, and you look at, people will say the plays don't pass to him. They should be doing more and more of that. Yeah, I agree because I saw the game against Crystal Palace on Saturday. There were times when Kai Havertz could have released the ball early and passed the ball to him, but he didn't do it. There are times when Pulisic could have done that as well, But they just, for some reason or another, they did not do it, and there must be a reason behind it all. Maybe they're just not confident enough to say he's going to finish off the chances they set up for him. So we've got to look at it that kind of way as well. But look, as I've said to you before, the only way for me to sort this whole situation out is he needs to be dropped for a couple of games. I'm
just sorry. It is Mikael that's killing me with his comments.
No.
Go ahead, DJ.
What's he saying? TT came in to solve the league. So he sticks to it. It's true. It's a very valid point, Mikael, by the way.
Go ahead, DJ. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, bro, it's true. And the thing was, he did come in and sort out defensive issues, But now it's the attack. We can't score goals, mate. And under Frank Lampard, we were scoring goals but conceding. So it's kind of like reverted around.
Yeah, because Lampard's usually. Can I just say something here? Yeah.
Yes.
Right? Because Lampard, right? Playing legend or not, right? I've seen it as well. You need to get some self-control. Take a Valium, right? Right. The problem is, right? I hate to say this.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Stab. I'm sorry.
You've been going long enough to know this, right? Right. That Lampard was a useless waste of space defensively, right?
Mm-hmm.
He stopped and changed too often, right? He started scapegoating players. He used that stupid zonal marking system, right? He couldn't organise a pee up in a brewery as far as defence goes. He went in, right? He wanted to. Is DJ still with us? You still there, DJ?
Yeah, I'm sure he's still laughing too.
Right? he came in, Lampard. He only had one thing in his mind, and that was to try and give Roman the football he wanted, right? And absolutely ignored the defensive side of the game, right? Yeah, Tuchel's come in, right? I remember his first interview, Tuchel, right? And he said he spoke with people down at the training ground, some of the staff that are already there, which I'm assuming is Anthony Barry and people like that, right? Yeah. And he said that they told him about issues with the defence and things like that. But they're going to tell him issues with the defence, yeah, under Lampard. Now, when we've played 4 at the back, we've shown we can play 4 at the back. And people keep saying that Rudiger is a system player and we have to play the 3 because that's where he's best suited. Well, I think even in a 4, he's proven that he can play at the back in a 4 as well as a 3. Right, and the 4, for me, allows us more attacking players, makes us a more potent attacking force, right? So, getting back to resolving the Lukaku issue, fine. Bring 1 or 2 of the youngsters in who are strikers, right? Put them into the.
And DJ did say, I think it was DJ that said, bringing Breuer back. If feel him, and if it starts scoring, Lukaku will be forced to do better. Go ahead.
That's next season, isn't it? Right. Yeah. That's next season. Right. So bring in one of the kids, whether it's Feerbema or Soon Sup Bell, whichever one it is. Right. Add them to the B list because they're both under 21. Play one of them at Luton. Right. Send a message out to Lukaku and Werner, right? If you don't want to play, I'll just play the kid. I keep hearing that Tuchel's all about the kids. Well, bring one in, play one at Luton, right? We can still win a game at Luton by playing a kid up top, right? And it sends a message out to the 2 strikers, right? With Werner, the difference is he's not an out-and-out striker. He's a secondary striker. I don't know. I mean, I don't think DJ is old enough, right? It's David Speedy, but DJ will know. Kalu playing off Drogba, yeah. Good Johnson playing off Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank. It's been done before. That's what Werner is. He's a secondary striker. So playing 4 at the back also allows Werner to play with Lukaku and still have 2 wingers as well, yeah. And you still get more width from the full-backs. So he's got to try something, hasn't he? And I'm not subscribing to this. He's been forced to play Lukaku, right? That's one thing I can't agree with because they've backed him. They've backed him all the way, right? And I think it's Tuchel's own pride that he plays him because he wants to try and make it work and show he can make it work. I don't think anybody on the board's telling him he has to play him. And I mean, I saw comments on the 5th stand, right, earlier on today, right? I said I was going to stay off social media, but like an idiot, I went on it, and some idiot turned round, right, and said that Lukaku is threatening Tuchel. How is he threatening him? How can Lukaku threaten him? The club backed him. This is the level of mentality of some of the fan base. Right? Oh my! Absolute nonsense. No one's threatening Tuchel.
Yeah. Right? So let's get Stav. Let's give this a chance because he was still telling us what he thinks the solution is.
I still think DJ's gone.
No, I think he's there.
Go on then, DJ.
Yeah, I think it's gone, and I think we've talked for almost it's getting to 3 hours now, and it's been a great conversation, and hopefully, I think we'll continue with fans' opinion. But this reminds me, I had a stream called Fans' Opinion. I think we'll start Fans' Opinion so that we can have long discussions like this, because the morning shows you want to finish it so that people can get back to work. It starts 11 a.m. UK. And 3 a.m. PST, so that people here can go back to sleep, get up, go to work. People in the UK, Nigeria, and all the people, what's the time zone, GMT or so, they can also go to work if they don't. That's for those that go to work at 12 or maybe their break time, or those can join, they can join. So I think we'll start the fans' opinion stream. I'll fix it either midweek or maybe weekends. I'm not sure when, but I have to plan it very well to allow us to have long conversations like this, fruitful conversations, thoughtful conversations, learn from each other, and get to know our club very well, and find solution, even though our solutions will not be applied, but at least we'll learn from it. Ty, do you have anything to say so that we can give it to our staff to round off and we call it a day? It's been quite a long one.
I would want to say something, but I don't know if you'd allow me to say it.
Go on,
No,
say it.
you're allowed to say anything you want to say. You're free to speak your mind.
He wants to shoot Lukaku.
Yeah, I would like to
Stop
say
him.
I hope if Lukaku does play, because I think Tuchel is gonna play Lukaku, whether or not fans want him to, he can at least try to do some work at least. But I also wanted to say that this is what I was talking about. I don't know if you allow me to say it, but it's regarding my channel.
No, oh man,
Go on, get on
go
with it.
ahead. Go ahead, then I'll send you bills. No problem.
Send the bills.
Yeah, just go ahead, bro. I was
Anyways,
kidding.
regarding my channel, I just recently got to 100. I've gotten 3 from my stream yesterday.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I got 3 other ones from my stream yesterday, and the video is getting more views. But anyways, I would like to get to 200. Obviously, whenever it's possible, I do make videos. I make previews, reviews. Sometimes I may have discussions depending on.
So sorry, Stav. I hope you see this comment on the screen. Go ahead.
I do streams with discussions whenever I can. What's that sound?
Go ahead. I'm not hearing sound. Just go ahead. Go ahead, and you can reach Stav via his Twitter account.
I've read it.
So yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead, Tyrone. Are you good?
Yeah. So I do streams doing discussions whenever I get the chance to, whenever my internet allows, and I'd like to integrate more discussions onto my channel, because it's good to have other people's perspectives. I keep saying this and you keep saying I keep saying your name, but
you're saying my name, Chelsea Perspective.
Yeah, I'd like to get the perspectives and the views of other fans, because it's good to have those interactions, to hear the different standpoints that people have. Also, it's Thai Talk CFC. Exactly. Thai Talk CFC. And thank you, Mika. I see what you said.
Yeah, and I will provide the complete URL, your name, everything in the chat. And yeah, but go ahead, Rondo, so we can. It's been a long one, and I think.
Oh, anyways, and I need to quickly say, what I'm expecting from the game against Lille is, I think they will be very difficult to break down if we're not careful. They will be going at us, and they'll be trying their very best to really break us down and be as aggressive as they can, which is why I hope that us starting Jorginho, hopefully his shortcomings when it comes on to being a bit weird, when it comes on to being under pressure, it doesn't really show. But I mean, I think we will be able to get past them. The question is, I don't know who's going to score and how many goals, but hopefully it will be a good game, and it will be much more impressive than in the league. And like Stav was saying, and I agree with what Stav said, I didn't get the chance to say it, but the way that we play, it's more suited to the Champions League and other competitions, because like he said, you get more space because your opponents aren't used to playing you 2 times a season or on our more regular basis. So they'll try to see what you're gonna do, and they'll try to break you down. But we'll get more time on the ball, like Sam said, and hopefully we'll be able to pounce on that and just break down their plans.
Yeah, great. I hope it happens like that. And I fear Jonathan David. It was DJ that brought me my attention to that player, the Canadian international. He's quick, he's a fine finisher, and he's got quick feet too. So, Stav, I hope you read everything that DJ wrote for you.
Yeah.
here. This one, John Hollins was our manager and former player. He was. Congrats to you, Ty. DJ, that's to you. And DJ, I appreciate you coming in today. It's been a while since you came onto my channel. I always like your input. Your knowledge of the game also is great. And you knowing all these managers, no wonder why your inputs are always so great. You have so much experience from a Chelsea perspective, of course. And I appreciate that. I appreciate you, Mikhail, for joining. You didn't miss too much except for the lineup. It just happens that DJ came on, Stav came on, and Ty came on. We had to keep the conversation going. We had ZV Genius. We had ZV Genius here. We had Fahim here. We had Helgi here. We had who again? And and again, I appreciate everybody to finding time to still be here with us, even though I had to move the show 3 hours ahead of the time it was scheduled previously. So thank you very much, DJ. I appreciate you, and I hope to see you here again. Do you have anything to say, Star, before we round up? We must watch out for Jonathan David. Yes, DJ, I remember you told me about him, and yeah, I've looked him up since, and I gotta say he's a good player. And Ty, DJ has a question for you. You have his Twitter. You can send him a message and let him know. Yes, I'll send you that. I'll send you Stav's. Stav, do you have your what's it called, Twitter handle by heart?
No, I don't know. I told you that today. I'm trying to avoid all that now.
I know. You should start. We need you.
I wasn't even planning on coming on tonight.
Yeah, start. Listen, we need you. You shouldn't leave the social media because of anybody. You should stay because we need you. Your experience.
I'm not leaving it because of anybody. I'm not leaving it. I just want a break from social media.
For your mental, I understand. Yeah, sometimes you need it, but I'll send it to you in case when he comes back. So that's not a problem. And Stav, do you have anything to say so we can round off? Again, it's been a great discussion. It was enjoyable, and thank you, Mikhail, for the laugh. It was good. It was a good one, and I loved it. Stav, do you have anything, or we're good?
Yeah, Jonathan David. All I can say is that Armando Broja only scored 1 goal less than him last season. So there's an answer. But for now, I would bring one of the youngsters in. I would play them at Leicester, Luton, right? Send a message out to the other 2 strikers, and let's see what he's got. He's supposed to be one of Scandinavia's
you're on DJ side. You're on DJ on the same side in that case of playing a younger player to push the older ones to get serious, so they don't take anything for granted.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yes,
they need to kick up the pants. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, Lukaku can just walk around the pitch, but it's going to reach a stage where he has to drop him, so he needs to get his finger out. But by the same token, Tuchel needs to be more adaptive as well with his players.
Everybody has a part to play. The manager has a part to play. Lukaku has a part to play. We, the supporters, also have a part to play, so that it works out for the good of everybody, so that we can see them win games and enjoy it. And because if they don't win games, it is painful to us. So thank you very much, Stav, for putting that. I hope to see you for the Blue Morning tomorrow. Blue Morning is a daily show now. Each day, new guests, and it's built to be 30 minutes, but I'm getting suggestions from my followers to make it at least 1 hour, because we had to cut off the discussion today because we went over 30 minutes answering the question of the people in the chat. It's supposed to be an interactive live Chelsea news and updates. So as we continued, we were reading and interacting with the fans in the chat, but we went over by, I think, 10 minutes or so. I'm thinking of making it an hour show, but it's going to be a 2-panel show for each day. The whole week has been booked. Stav, you all on Thursday. I think next Monday will be Tom Overend. Drogbaba will come in. Ankit will come in. And I hope to get DJ for next week because, like I said, the whole of this week is already filled up. So I'm happy about that. And the first episode was enjoyable, and I hope DJ. Good to see DJ Saf doing the run today, bigger brother. He's everywhere, supporting everybody. So yeah, Stav, thank you very much. I appreciate you. Yeah, Stav would like to come on your channel, and hopefully he sorts out the situation why he's leaving social media soon. And Ty, believe me, Stav would want to come on. He would like your channel because you're very objective. He just doesn't like where people tell others what isn't the truth. I think in some cases that's what pisses him off, and he gets angry easily. I have to say to his face, is my friend. Yeah, that's it for the day. Stav, again, thank you, and Ty, thank you very much. I hope to see you guys again, and God bless you all. For everybody in the chat, Mikael and DJ Sav, who remained till now. It's a little, really late for DJ Sav, so I appreciate him still being around. Yeah, Sav, you saying something?
Yeah, he's 2 hours behind me. It's late for me.
No, it's morning already for you, Sav.
The UK is 2 hours behind me. Where does DJ Sav live? DJ, where do you live?
UK.
Yeah, I know he lives in the UK.
Okay, where precisely? You want to ask? Okay.
Yeah.
I doubt if he'll say that in the chat.
He obviously lives in London. I think he
probably.
didn't.
Probably London. So with that, we've come to the end of the stream today. And Ty, can you stay back? I have a meeting with you regarding the blog, please.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you, and God bless you all. Bye.
Good night.